A triple kill, but Sona Finn, he'll deny the plant. He sees 2 more kills. Oh my god! Sona Finn will find 4!
Where's Miracle? He's trying to come upstairs, but Crafty will get the ace. He'll get the plant. He'll do it all.
Device, misses shots. He's going to have to go for the front.
Oh,
he pushes
Dylan!
on through. Dylan is better.
Round 2, and there's another as Tyrant is finished off, and they all line up for phone.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another day of SCS. My name is Kagan, I'm joined by the amazing Crow, and we have another beautiful showing between 2 amazing teams.
Yeah, the 2 amazing teams being named Nemesis and D2E. D2E, of course, our last season champions. We love them. I love them, personally. Bunch of great guys. Nemesis, though, I feel like we got to use the word amazing sparingly with them, because so far in our season, they have only been able to accrue single point, an OT loss in four maps, something like that. So we'll see if
amazing
Nemesis,
spirit.
We'll see if it's Nemesis time to bounce back, but against D2E, that's certainly going to be a bit of a challenge.
I mean, look, if you have to bounce back against one team, why not go for the best of the best, right? Like, that's like David and Goliath right there. You know, casters say that all the time, they overuse it, but I think really right now, that's a really good situation. Yeah,
the only thing is that if Nemesis lose here to D2E, I mean, we've also got Gatekeepers, Aerial Arise, who I think they've already lost to. D2E is not the only strong team in the group that Nemesis is going to have to go through. So maybe I'd be a little bit worried if you're a fan of them. But I mean, like I said, hopefully they'll be able to bounce back at some point.
And Crow, you're not wearing any green today. I'm disappointed.
I'm not. So I forgot that it was St. Patrick's Day. Because no one told me, and I don't know. Here, wait. I'll try to get my hair out of my eyes. I don't know if you can tell, but I am not Irish.
What?
Small eyes, you know, kind of yellowish skin.
Huh.
That is not what Irish people look like.
Oh. I've never read a textbook before.
Yeah, so
Never.
I didn't know it was St. Patrick's Day. I also can't drink, so I don't really care. But yeah, I don't own any green clothes. I own black,
can drink.
I own gray, I own dark gray, I own dark blue.
Okay.
I don't know.
I was gonna say, you needed some navy blue in your life.
Navy blue is goat. Navy blue goat.
like a navy blue sports jacket is amazing.
I don't know if I...
But we can look at the roadmap as well for SCS and see how far we've come already and what we have left for the rest of the season here. We're already in week number 3. Wow, time flies by. But we do have 3 play days this week, and of course that's going to continue for the next 2 weeks as well. But after that, out of the group stage, we go into the playoffs. And of course there, you don't see those giant chopped up blocks like you do for the first 5 weeks. It's all going to be one gigantic piece of a lot of gameplay going on there. But we're halfway through the group stage, and I think that's really neat to see.
Yeah, so far, most of the matches, I'd say, have kind of gone the way that we expect. Not too many upsets. I think the biggest upset that I think we've seen is probably No Plants taking a map off D2E, which I definitely didn't expect. It was Consulate, though. I know D2E don't like playing Consulate, so definitely makes sense in hindsight. But I think that's really the only crazy thing that's happened so far. But like you said, at least for the group stage that we're still in, if you want to take a look at the bottom of your screen, we've got a kind of a point system that Ferme had actually come up with that the NAL and the global esports scene stole from us. It's 3 points for a win in regulation. If you lose in regulation, you get nada, nothing. But if you bring it to OT, even if you lose, you still get 1 point. And if you win, if it's an OT, unfortunately, you can't get the full 3 because one of those points has been given to the loser. So it's kind of like they call it like hockey style scoring. And the global Rainbow Six circuit has actually inherited this scoring method, so it's nice to see it kind of spread out because I think it's definitely a lot better than the black and white 3 or nothing.
But let's take a look at the standings right now too and see where all the teams are at. You mentioned, you know, some upsets having happened already, but not a whole lot of them. But Nemesis, one of the teams you already mentioned too, only having a single point on the board. They've played 4 maps, they've lost 4 maps, and they're at -9 right now. But D2E, a lot higher up there.
Yeah, D2E unfortunately haven't had a great start to the season. They went 1-1 against No Plants, and they went 0-2 against Aerial Arise. So granted, they have gone against Aerial Arise, which Nemesis haven't gone up against yet. They got 2-0'd by Wichita and 2-0'd by No Plants. So Nemesis still have much tougher teams to go through. Down2Earth still have, today's game against Nemesis, who might be a weaker team. Smoke Break, who were previously known as Wichita Wolves, who might also be a slightly weaker team. We're not sure, but I think Down2Earth still, they have more points. They've already got one of their really hard games over and done with. But this game is definitely going to be really important. Like you said, they're in the 5th and 6th place spots. Whoever wins this game, or rather, whoever loses this game, especially if it's 0-2, might unfortunately be securing one of those bottom 2 spots.
Yeah, and that's just not a place you really want to be at, even if it is just the group stage, right? You just don't want to dig yourself that big of a hole this early on. It wouldn't be beneficial to you if you're a team. But a lot of the recent matches too have been fairly close as far as we can see. We do see like the Aggro Neo match was maybe one of the most decisively different next to Mystic and Wichita Wolves with that 7-2 scoreline. But going into tonight, I think it's going to be a lot closer than those kinds of score lines. I'm expecting to see 7-5s.
Tonight for D2E Nemesis,
at least one match is going to be 7-5. It's Oregon and Kafe. I mean, look, these two maps are more known than like Oxygen, right? Like we all know how to play Oregon. We know how to play Kafe. Both of these teams should be able to put up quite a bit of a fight against each other here.
I think. All right. So here's the thing.
Uh-oh.
D2E are a very good Kafe team, historically. We've seen them time and time again just shred on Kafe. But that's not their map pick. I was gonna say, if we're gonna see a 7-5 tonight, it'll probably be on Nemesis map pick, but they picked Kafe. So I'm not too sure. I guess that's gonna be the map that Nemesis are more ready for. So I think if we're gonna see a 7-5, it'll probably be there. But again, I'm going in just cautious right now because Nemesis so far, despite being a CL roster, haven't really shown that CL caliber yet.
Well, it could be what is to come when it comes to Challenger League. But let's take a look at the two teams and see the CL level roster here. Maybe they have to do some differences here. It's going to be a whole slew of Red, Bales, Boji, Joe, and Box across the board. And yeah, you're right, Crow. Their overall rating isn't as big as D2E's, but it's not by that big of a difference either.
I think the most stark difference that we can point out is just the fact that D2E, despite having 3 map losses, they've still got one. And their average rating is above a positive, mostly in part to Exile and Bone. Michael and Aaron have just been star fraggers for D2E throughout almost every single game. And we're going to highlight anyone on Nemesis. I think 2 players that have really stepped up have been Boji and Bales come to mind. Joe has been okay. Joe has been pretty good on the support, but of course that's not really his job, so it's been off and on only when he needs to. But I think Boji and Bales have been pretty consistent. But like I said, average rating. I don't think they have a single player above a 1.0, if I'm not mistaken.
I think believe so.
I think another asterisk we have to put down though is that they are a Challenger League team. Challenger League starts April 3rd. PDHM Vale. Obviously, they're not really running stuff that they're going to be running in Challenger League. They're running defaults. They're kind of, in fact, sometimes they're kind of trolling. Nemesis, I can't say for certain because I don't really talk to their players, but it's also very possible that Nemesis are saving stuff for Challenger League and thus aren't playing to their full potential. So I think it's a little bit, I'll take back my previous statement. I think it's a little bit unfair to say that they haven't looked Challenger League caliber just yet because neither are PDHM or Vale, but that's because they're saving stuff. So it's very likely that Nemesis are as well.
That's true. I could definitely see where you're coming from. Maybe we can see a little bit more inklings of what they can bring out. Maybe as Challenger League starts or even as we get out of the group stage and into the playoffs here. I really do want to see more from Nemesis. Again, they are a Challenger League team. I think we could see a lot from them coming out into this. But right away, I do see the split being plus 14 for Exile. That's crazy of a scoreline. Yeah. That's the best scoreline on this entire board. Yeah,
Michael has been absolutely insane so far through this season. what, Sledge Maestro, I think are his
Oh,
roles.
yeah.
So he is playing very frag oriented operators, but on an operator like Maestro, you know, you're not necessarily going to be too aggressive. Wow. Here are the predictions. And it is unanimous. A 2-0 for D2E from all of us, including you and myself.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I don't think there's a single person who would disagree with us with how the season has gone. So I think, I mean, you know, if Nemesis take a map off, then we all take a hit. Your tippy top 58% will go down, but so will everyone else. Like
Why
Connor's.
am I the top?
I don't know. You remind me. You know who you remind? You remember my friend Luke, who would like just do stuff wrong but still get the right answer. I wonder. It's got to be that. And then we got Connor, Mr. Collegiate over here, 17%. Come on, man.
Yeah, take me to a casino at the end of the season.
Hey, yeah.
80 to 20%. That's one of the biggest differences we've seen in the community polls. I think the last time we had one so huge was No Plans versus I am completely blanking on the team. It may have been Team Mystic, and No Plans came out on top. Synthetic. It was Synthetic.
No.
No?
They're in different groups.
Okay.
Aggro Synthetic, are you talking about?
It was Aggro Synthetic.
Okay, that's what it was.
That's what it
That's
was.
Yeah, I mean, Aggro proved us right. They were
Yeah.
certainly took it to Synthetic. I think I actually voted for a tie. I didn't expect that. But yeah, again, Nemesis, whether they're saving or not, doesn't change the fact that they haven't really shown much confidence in their map so far. So it makes perfect sense for everyone to ride on the D2E train, heading on from last season. Here are the maps. Clubhouse and Coastline will be auto-banned, followed by Consulate. Chalet, fortunately, won't be seeing it today. Villa, and then Oregon Kafe. Woo!
I've never seen those maps before.
Exotic.
I can't wait to see Chalet. I have never commentated Chalet.
Me too.
I
Neither
don't
have
even know the callouts for it.
I haven't gotten the chance yet. I know we've actually like run through the map and done the callouts. They're not too difficult. There's some that are, there's a lot of areas in the map that are kind of like repeated. Like let's say like a half wall or something. Like there's a whole crap ton of half walls. So there's some very specific callouts, but for the most part it's pretty self-explanatory. But I mean, like we said, Oregon Kafe, D2E, confident on both maps. Nemesis. I think Oregon is the map that they brought to overtime against. No, it was Clubhouse. No, they lost Oregon in regulation. So I expect D2E to come out on top of Oregon. I'm hoping Nemesis can at least, at the very minimum, bring us to OT on Kafe. But again, I'm going to be cautious because D2E are a very historically good Kafe team.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting map number one. I think Oregon's definitely going to be the more hotly contested map between the two. Like you said, D2E is much more historically in the favor of D2E, or for Kafe it is. But for Oregon, I do feel like it could go either way. If Nemesis, like you said, does take a map off here, it's going to be Oregon. There's no way on Kafe.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a hard series for them.
Wrong.
I hope they're going to prove us wrong too. As much as I love the boys on D2E, I don't want Nemesis to be going out, you know, with a single point to their name in the first 3 weeks. That's just kind of, that's not good. I like it when all the teams are putting up a good fight. So we'll have to see. But
I think the operator bans could be interesting too here. We could be thrown in for a curveball on Oregon. I mean, maybe not so much on the attackers, but some of the defender lineups, we've been seeing some curveball operator defense bans.
Yeah, I think if we're going to see any, like, not really unorthodox ban, but maybe a counter ban to Nemesis from D2E, the Capitao, really good on Kafe, and we saw from the Oregon game, Bales was incredible on the Capitao. He clutched up against No Plants several times, but I know Ferme wants us to mention, we have a, okay. First, we got to lay out the groundwork for this. As some of you may have seen, the new in-game, like the top bar, is actually higher in the operator select phase, and then it's set lower during the action phase for whatever reason. So classic like map ban overlays and in-game overlays and stuff won't work because they won't account for the difference. So we have an experimental one. Ferme designed one all on his own, and instead of being an addition, a supplement to the in-game top bar, it's actually just going to completely cover it. So the points are going to be updated by us, the operator bands. We're going to have, like, you know, the team logos and names, maybe even colored. I don't know. But it's going to be experimental. So if there are any bugs and stuff, bear with us. This is our first time test running it. We are Ferme's guinea pigs right now.
Yeah, this is gonna be a really experimental matchup between both of us here. You know, both teams do need these points. It's gonna be an interesting matchup still, but a lot of it is more of just testing on our end here. And I feel like even too for Nemesis, it's also kind of testing the waters for like Oregon and Kafe, with, you know, CL being so close, not even 2 weeks out.
Yeah, CL is definitely right around the corner, which I'm extremely excited for. We're gonna have
yeah.
We've got a lot of repeat talent coming back. We got some new people. We got some new features too. So I'm sure Nemesis are just as excited as we are, including Honor, Vale, PDHM. Is that all the CL teams here?
I think
that's all
so.
the CL teams here.
Well, it looks like we're about ready to get into it. Come on, Crow. Let's see it. Oh, I love the operator bands. Let's go. Ooh, here we go.
So
there is something vibrating in my background.
Something vibrating?
Yeah.
Like what?
I don't know.
You can hear it?
Yeah, it's so loud.
You just hear like a whirring?
Maybe, I don't know what it is. Whatever. But I mean, the first two bands I think are pretty expected. Probably gonna be like Thatcher and Ace, or maybe Thatcher Maverick. When it comes to Oregon here, there's a lot of potential with both of them. Wow!
There's Thatcher.
Holy! Hi Harrison. Hi Max. Hi Yusuke. Yusuke is really good at Valorant.
Yusuke is very good at Valorant. He's also very good at Siege. You know,
yes.
his name, so his American name is Noah, right? His name in Japanese is actually Yusuke. That is his given name.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Second band is going to be the Ace from D2E. Ace, very powerful hard breacher on Oregon. Usually you see either the Ace being banned, or the Hibana, or a Maverick, something like that. Oh, apparently we're on East servers. Hopefully we don't need to rehost. First defender ban, though, will be the Wamai. Again, very standard ban, especially on Oregon. Makes holding down blue a little bit more difficult. Positions like Attic as well. You're not going to have those magnets to just capture, you know, every single projectile that's going to be going your way. And Nemesis will round us out with, of course, the Mirror.
Okay, so no crazy bans across the board. I mean, it happens. It just makes the spicier ones that we do see in later matchups even better. But oh, this is my first time seeing this.
Oh, the new
yeah, I mean, I saw pictures, right, like behind the scenes, but like all the animations and stuff, I like this. It reminds me of something. I just can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, I mean, Ferme is a wizard. Oh, okay. Already, we see one little issue. It does cover the round. Oh no, I think it's is it perfectly sandwiching the timer and the round counter?
I think so. The R's a little cut off.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to see if it gets to double digits. We're gonna have to see then, because it might cut off the second digit.
That's true. D2E don't 7-0.
Hey, I mean, if they do 7-0, we may never know.
Dude, it's like double sub 10 round games. It's like, thanks, man. You don't even get the test for your test.
So this is, I'll be completely real with you. This is my first time seeing the new overlay as well.
Oh, the new in-game one?
Yeah. So all of this is like, oh, really interesting. I like the utilities up at the top there. With like the
utilities,
that's
definitely
interesting.
cool.
See, the most annoying, because I've done a lot of work in observing. The number one most annoying thing, I think, from an observing perspective, and I'm not sure if they've changed this, but something a lot of people don't talk about is when you are an observer in a competitive match, it's really difficult to tell if an attacker's on drones or not. The only way you can tell is if there's no white bar below where their weapon is when it's selected.
Yeah, that too. So it looks like, all right, so it looks like in the overlay, we've got total breaching charges, stuns, and frags, as well as with the shield, barbed wire, and C4. I think what it is, so the left number is how many have been used and are out, and the right number is how many are in the pocket. So see, 3 C4s total in the pocket, 6 breaching charges total in the pocket, 3 for Bone, 3 for Yusuke, 6 stuns, 2 nades. That's really cool. So we get kind of an overview, and then if we want to see who has it, we can go ahead and look at the Look at the sidebars. That's actually
Interesting.
pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it should be reversed though, because it looks like it's still like one, you know, one shield in possession, like two iron bars. Yeah, so it's like, okay. But right away, we do see Down to Earth already making no qualms, making their way inside master bedroom. Nevozo's on the other side of the entire building, looking for that huge pinch angle, but that window can't be breached. He's got to either repel or make his way into attic window as well to hold an angle, but so far, already trying to go for a double prong execute.
Yeah, that's pretty standard. So Nevozo's on the window. He's getting the cutoff while the rest of D2E works on attic. They've actually already opened that up. But Yusuke will be the first death. Bails, I'm not even quite sure where that was from, but he'll swing around and get the pick on the Ash. Now, Ash being gone, you do lose a lot of that utility. Oh, I'm interested that the breaching charge number didn't go down to 3. That's kind of unfortunate. I wish they had that. But you do lose those breaching rounds. So any indestructible gadgets like the Malusi, like the shields, will be a little bit harder to clear. Now you got to rely on the Zofia and the nades from Exile, who, speaking of, will at least answer back. Box goes down inside of attic. They'll fall inside of the trench. And I mean, regarding positioning, that is a really big kill for D2E.
Yeah, and with all that being said, right, the Jaeger's gone, the Ash is gone, both sides. They kind of cancel each other out, but you have full attic control on Down to Earth side. Meanwhile, having more Master Closet control as well, having long angles going directly into pretty much every tight corner. Already Kojin's going to fall, and that's going to leave it to Boji now and maybe to push on up. But these defenders are still down below, really waiting for anyone to come on by. Down to Earth, it's a 4v2. Speaking of which, though, that might go down to a 4v1. They're able to clap back a little bit more. Bones still left alive. Needs to look for those angles across, but he gets a double kill really doing it. Look at that new double kill graphic.
That
I love that.
Was really cool.
It's like Overwatch now. But Bales, hiding behind an iron shield, knows exactly where the Zofia is going to push in from, but it doesn't matter. Only to get a few shots, less than 50 still. Having to push on forwards, not seeing a lot, losing control completely with their life. Nemesis is able to take round 1.
That's definitely, I like the little little additions they've put. But that round fell apart from D2E as soon as they tried to push into attic, right? So you got Yusuke dead, you got a trade, you finally take attic control. Exile tries to push in with Bone. Gets immediately taken out from behind that shield. I believe Nevozo still on the window also went down. I have no idea where Kojin died. I assume Kojin died over by the breach because, you know, he was Hibana and that's what he was tasked with opening up earlier in the round. A lot of split pushes from D2E, not a lot of refrag potential. Bone was the only one who got any picks after that initial one from Exile. So they were able to bring it back to a 1v2, but that attic push, not great from Down to Earth. And Nemesis will take the first defense.
Yeah, it was definitely a really aggressive one, too. You saw Yusuke pretty much just rush in. They did stall for a little bit inside of bedroom, but after that, they pushed and immediately got taken down. I have a feeling now, though, maybe Down to Earth kind of are going to lay themselves back a little bit more, maybe take this a little bit more calculated, especially on Laundry Room, a site that at times can be really difficult to take over as an attacker. It's going to rely on Nemesis, though, to hold the proper angles, and I'm really curious to see where a lot of these initial positions are going to be placed. I mean, they're probably going to be playing defaults, but even then, is Down to Earth going to play aggressive here, or are they going to take their time with this one?
They tend to be a pretty not passive, but not over aggressive team.
Like passive aggressive.
Yeah,
but a different way.
They take their time, but they don't take, they don't take so much time that it's like overly detrimental to them, is what I've found about D2E. So they're a patient team, but they're not necessarily, they don't tend to stall out and stuff too often. So Down to Earth starting off with their tower take. It's basement. You got to take tower. Tower is step 1 in clearing pillar, a huge control point for both the attackers and the defenders. Looks like the nearest defender to contest this will be Red, playing the Valkyrie. He got 2 kills in the last round. Ready and waiting with a C4. Bone pushes in a little bit too early. He could fall victim, but Exile's coming in for the pinch. Camera goes down, C4 ripped, but it will miss. 1 C4 now expended. Red will have to fall back down inside a pillar. Bone will not chase, he will not get over aggressive, so his prey will slip, but that is a C4 off the board, and now tower control in the favor of the attack.
That's right. Now the real execute needs to come on way for Down2Earth's side. They do have the Hibana. They're able to open up some of the hatches. There is no Kaid, so there's not going to be any electric claws or really any way to stifle any of these hatches being opened up. The Nomad 2 from Navozo is able to hold off a lot of these flank potentials as well, but given from what we've seen on the defensive side, there's not going to be any defensive roaming or really flank potential either. They're all going to be hiding on site, waiting for anyone to strike on by any second, though. But look at Exile. Waiting on the E-box hatch, possibly going to drop, maybe trying to clear out Pillar as well, but no one's actually going to be playing in Pillar. They're waiting their time. Red, of course, going to be pushing up a little bit more, but Crow, with 1:17 left, not a single bit of damage has really even taken by yet.
Yeah, both teams not being the first one, not wanting to be the first one to initiate a fight. Might be Bone, though. He's starting to creep down. He does see Red by the double door. Boji hugging the corner inside of Bunker. He'll peek out as Bales and Red both find a kill each. Yusuke again going to be the opening death. Bone with one back, though, and we're evened out at a 3 versus 3. Decent bit of utility for D2E still as well. They've got the explosives to try and deal with the smoke shield, and they've got burn on Kojin. They've got 40 seconds left, so they can take their time as Navozo will rotate around towards Freezer, try and pressure out the Jaeger of Box. A lot of split pushing coming down from Down2Earth. Nemesis as well. A little bit spread out. The crossfire angles could be found, but in comes the drop from Navozo. Great timing to get Box. Push out from the mute. Does not find a kill. Kojin gets his second, and it's just Bales. SMG 11 in hand in a 1 versus 3. He'll take out the Nomad inside of Freezer. Cost him a ton of HP, though. And the plant going down from Bone. C4 up. Can it find the kill? It will. A triple kill. The Hibana has to come save it, but Bales! Wow. He'll catch Kojin without his gun up. Mid-sprint Nemesis take round number 2.
Holy moly, right away already Nemesis putting up so much damage up against Down2Earth. It's only been 2 rounds, right? But Dorms and Laundry, some of the most pivotal sites that you can have as a defensive team. Those were really important rounds for Nemesis to win, and now they're going to be forced to play a tertiary site. If they can win 3 in a row here and get the perfect site rotation, Crow, that's going to be such a great start for this half, and could pretty much be a prelude for how the second half's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Bales, this is what we saw from him last week against No Plants, right? Is the clutch factor. He just 4K 1v3'd. That was insane.
And he made it look easy.
With the SMG-11, barely any HP. I didn't think it was going to happen, especially considering where he was. But the fact that there was still a C4 in pocket, was able to deny the plant, and Kojin, it looked like he just kind of freaked out. Cracked under pressure, sprinted at the elbow, rotate instead of taking his time. All he needed to do was land 1 single bullet, but he got caught mid-sprint. How many times do we have to say it? Chief loves saying this. Stop sprinting indoors. Once you are in the building, especially in a clutch situation when you have no intel against your last opponent, you just should not be sprinting.
Makes me wonder if we're going to see them take that advice. A lot of teams just love to sprint everywhere. It makes a lot of footsteps.
Yeah, it's loud. It's loud. Can't have your gun up. There's plenty of drawbacks to it. I mean, if you got to get somewhere fast, it's great, but when you're in a clutch situation like that, when you know your opponent could be right around the corner, you should not be on your shift key.
You don't really need to run a lot on this bomb site, though. As an attacker or defense, a lot of it is pretty much you're already in, and you're right in the buffer room across from the bomb site. We see Yusuke, we see the Hibana there already. It is going to be banned. It's going to be electrified by the Electro Claws. They have to get rid of it. They have Exile for that utility. And if they're able to find the Electro Claw, well, then you can finish it up with Hibana as well. You don't have to run at all. They're already in prime position to open up the wall.
And this is, of course, a big part of the meeting attack is not only taking out the meeting wall, but also the attic wall. If you don't have attic open, then that Jaeger upstairs, he can just fully deny any push onto the stage from the attic hatch. It's very important that you open that wall. You don't necessarily pressure attic, but you hold him there. You make sure he can't move forward. Next stage is going to be opening up meeting as well. They have a couple holes in it. I'm not quite sure what that vertical hole was for from Michael, but
I think it was the Electro Claw.
Maybe, but I mean, I guess they want to open it with the Hibana instead of just Mav tricking it. You do have Joe playing close on the double door as well. If D2E get a little bit too aggressive and Joe is able to swing around with that shotgun, that could be a huge downfall for D2E in that green.
Bales is right across the way inside kitchen, though in case they do open it up, they realize maybe the Electro Claw is not going to be the way to go. Instead, they have the Maverick going towards attic side. Box patiently waiting for anyone to come on by. Bones right across the corner. Nevozo with the pinch too. That Jaeger could be stuck. If he's able to find at least one of them, either the Nomad or the Zofia, it's going to be a strong opening here. It's a lot of valuable assets that could go away. Exile with the grenade. Might be able to find some damage on the box. Already about 50. Almost tries to get the shot down, but the Maverick's dead. Make that a double kill, no less. 2. Box is able to find 1, but no. It wasn't quite the double. Nevozo, of course, now going to be struck down in their prime. A 4v3 turns into a 4v2. The bodies are melting away. 47 seconds left, Harrison. There's not a whole lot left. There's only Bone stuck upstairs. No diffuser in hand. Now needing to make their way down to the site, has to find out what to do. He has to go through back in attic, go back exactly where he was before, maybe try to find a vertical kill as well, or maybe even try to bait it. Is Joe going to fall for it? Possibly, but he's waiting around the corner, the more likely spot to get a kill. 26 seconds left, turns that into 0. Nemesis is able to find the final kill, and that's 3 in a row.
Oh. Joe in the position that I talked about. Right next to the green double door leading into tower. D2E, again, tried taking attic. This time, Michael, Exile, didn't get his free nade kill. Box survived and swung. Exile loses the fight. Sure, there's a refrag, but meanwhile, downstairs in the tower, in the T1 take, D2E were crushed by that shotgun. Joe just swung, won his gunfights, and shut them down there. Already, D2E's attic push didn't go as planned, but add that onto that green double pressure. It's another round for Nemesis. They've taken a flawless site rotation so far. It's 3-0. This is definitely not the start that D2E wanted.
Yeah, hopefully, though, we can see D2E bring it back on the defense here, or maybe even the second half of this first half, or I guess in that case, it would be like a quarter. But 3 in a row, perfect site rotation's really good. We're going to go back to where we started, to be back in dorms yet again. And remember from round number 1, too, Crow, we saw Yusuke get gunned down immediately. I think Kojin wasn't too far behind either. There was a lot of trade potential on this site, but it fell apart once we saw the final bodies drop on D2E's side. Nemesis just turtled the whole time. In fact, I don't think there was any roamers at all in the entirety of this game.
No, it was just the people upstairs.
Yeah. And would you even consider that a roam on meeting? No. It's just an extension of the site.
Yeah, not really a roam, like you said, just kind of a site extension.
Their vibrating's back. What is that?
I don't know, man. We're back on dorms. This is where D2E had an unfortunate entry into Master, and whose attic take started off good, and then kind of just evaporated. Downstairs, Yusuke will burn whatever utility was on the games wall. There's a player inside of meeting. We'll be looking to get pressure up into attic when D2E eventually pushes it. Taking a gunfight through that hatch is sometimes can be a little bit difficult, especially if you don't know exactly where that defender is. So Red is definitely going to be in that advantageous position. Plus, he can huck a C4 through it. Maybe even get it into T2 of tower through the breach. So taking Red out of this position is going to have to come before they move into attic. So the earlier, of course, the better. More time Red wastes down here. I mean, he doesn't even have to get a pick through the hatch. The fact that he can just sit here and bleed away the time from D2E is already good enough.
That was somehow a headshot. That looked like it was directly on his feet. Okay.
No, it was Yusuke that got the kill.
It was a different occurrence in general. Yep. Never mind. I was going to say that there's no way. But Red is going to be the first one to fall. The Valkyrie, if you had to lose anybody, I think that was probably the best option. You don't have the MPX to work with anymore. The Valkyrie cams are already out and about. 2, Exile and company pushing up inside of attic. That Jaeger that we thought had died originally, who did not, has now relegated away, almost back to sight, it seems. But with that being said now, everyone else just turtling away. They're waiting for these angles, very predictable ones at that. Kojin on the drone has no idea. The reverse C4 tries to come down, but it doesn't work. Yusuke is able to find Bales, and the revive comes through. This could be the miracle shot coming out from Bales. Can this secure it? No. It's too little too late, but the smoke grenade, they're throwing all the utility out at these two.
Wow. They really wanted to finish that kill off on Kojin. A little bit of a waste of the C4 from Boji. He should have known that that down happened outside from the call from his team, and he'll pay the price for it. Nevozo, still on that flank watch, takes him down. Exile as well, able to push into attic and live this time. Kills Box, a little bit of revenge there. Joe, he's able to finish off one, but Bone hits the prone and takes the round for D2E. Finally able to take one back. They stop the bleeding, at least for now.
I mean, looking at it from the outside in, from the observing perspective, right? Using Kojin going down was a fantastic distraction for Down2Earth.
I don't even think they did that on purpose.
I don't think they did either.
I think Nemesis were just like, so it was because Nemesis knew that it was the Hibana, so they're like, all right, go. He's hard breach down, get him. And then they just threw all their utility out. The C4 from below was a huge whiff. Boji knew that they were downed outside. Like, there wasn't even enough time for the revive to come through. They even wasted a gas canister on it. And I mean, sure, they took out the hard breach, yeah, but at that point, D2E already got full attic control. They were already pushed, like, down attic and even hopped already.
There was such a huge focus on it. When we have our interviews, I really want to know both sides of that story.
It looked like they just tunnel visioned the hard breach.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But I mean, from Down2Earth's perspective, I would love to know if that was like an IGL call or if that was just like, do it. But it worked out very well for Down2Earth, and now they have a point on the board, and now that we're towards the end of the first half, Nemesis, they've gone almost flawless on the entirety of their defense except for that last round. Now we're returning back to Laundry again, which, sure, it's only been one round that they won in the 3K, coming out from, I believe it was Joe, but Bales, can they recreate that same magic again?
That's the thing. That's the thing about sites like this.
Well, here's the thing, right? Because they didn't have... There's no Kaid on Nemesis' side, so there's a lot less opposition on those hatches, so there's less utility that Down2Earth really needs to use. But there's also no roam potential coming out from Nemesis' side, so you have to kind of consider the fact that there's a lot of early control coming out from them. But even if they have that control, you jump down into the site, it's almost like jumping into a bear trap. Yusuke is trying to go for the roam clear, though, Harrison, but he's not going to find a whole lot of results right away because everybody, again, still on site.
Yeah, the one thing I'm a little bit concerned from Nemesis, though, is that D2E had this round in the bag. It was a big 1v3 and a 4K from Bales to bring it back. If that doesn't happen again, are Nemesis still able to take it? We'll have to see. He did get I believe, the leadoff kill on Yusuke last time. Box already knows about that early freezer pressure as well. The drone will escape, which is good for Yusuke. He'll be able to tuck that back in his pocket and use that intel for later in the round. But Down2Earth, they're not really switching up their push. They'll drone down main again. I think that might be where Yusuke died last time, because I know D2E have started to use Yusuke as kind of like a very early entry. Like, they'll just drone him down somewhere immediately at the start of the round and try and get the kill. I think that's how Bales got it last time. But D2E, oh no, they are switching out the push. Okay, they're switching to, it looks like a freezer laundry take with maybe 1 or 2 players dropping E-box.
I love these kinds of takes because we see Pillar, we see Bunk all the time, or, well, we don't really see Bunker as much anymore. It's mostly Blue and Pillar and sometimes Freezer, but having these more centralized takes towards the OG way of taking down Oregon is just so cool to see. Boji going to be pushing up a little bit more, doesn't find the pre-fire shots at all. Exile trying to go for the frag grenade again. Last time around was able to find some action onto Red using that frag grenade, but not enough to secure the kill, but at least drove away his Pillar position. He's going to try to go for it again. There's 2 different bodies around Pillar's side. Is it going to connect? It does. Joe takes a little bit of damage, but everybody else is resting nice and tight. They don't really have to worry about a whole lot, except for maybe that C4 coming out from Red, if that connects, and it hasn't been thrown yet. Bone still biding his time, blissfully unaware. Oh, still in his hand, though. He might be waiting for that push. Hasn't thrown out yet. There it goes. Does not connect, though.
Yeah, unfortunate for Red. You now lost 2 C4s on the side of Nemesis. That nade 2 that we saw, that nade attempt from Exile was, I will say, kind of mistimed, but that hard breach utility, you saw what kind of bait they were going for.
Holy moly.
Exile takes out 1, but there's Box and Red with 2 apiece, but Yusuke dropping the E-Box hatch. He catches 2 defenders off guard. And D2E now have the man advantage, though it's only by 1. It's a 3 versus 2, and time is low. Only 18 seconds left. Down2Earth are separated. It looks like they've got 1 pushing laundry. That's Navozo, Yusuke, and E-Box, and 1 elbow. He'll just push right through the smoke. It's a triple kill for the Ash, and he'll start getting that plant down. Bales, once again, in another 1 versus 3 situation, but this time, he won't be able to deny the plant. There'll be a post for him. He'll get the headshot onto the man inside of elbow. Shotgun out, looking for the close angle against Yusuke, but the Ash knows. He'll try and just dip away. He knows he can play for the range with the weaponry that the smoke has in his, or that the mute has in his arsenal. D2E now holding their post-plant positions. Very smartly played by Yusuke, by the way, to just kind of run away and not take the engagement. He knows he has time on his side. And instead of playing safe inside of elbow, he'll hug the reinforcement, something that Bales does not expect. It's a huge 4K for the Ash, including the plant, and D2E take their second attack in a row.
That is what they wanted to do last time we saw Laundry, and they weren't able to do so. Bales, found himself, like you said, again in another 3K, and it just didn't quite go the same way he wanted to. He was able to get that one penetration shot on Blue Elbow. I thought that was pretty cool, but he wasn't able to create that same magic again. So now it's a 1-point differential. And Nemesis, they have done such a great job up until now, but Down2Earth, they're bringing it back. It was 3 points on the board for Nemesis, and we could very well realistically see a 3-3 coming out on 2 big streaks for both teams. But now that we're in the final round of the first half, you have to wonder if one team or another can recreate that same magic.
I think we can definitely see the 3 in a row from D2E. It looks like they've started to figure out how Nemesis are playing this. Especially that really big heads-up play from Yusuke. I will say, Bales just wasn't given the opportunities. That was the major difference factor. Or the major difference in why Down2Earth, didn't lose the 1v3 this time. So they just didn't give Bales the fights. Instead of walking at him, instead of sprinting at him, they not only were able to get the plant down because of the positions they held, but they did not play aggressive. You saw once Bales, like you said, got that nice little wall bang into elbow, Yusuke just dipped. He was not going to take that fight. And that was probably the smartest decision that he could have made. Started to play closer to Navoso around towards elbow, because Navoso was tucked right into the closet, so they were in position to be refragged. That was a really good work from the Ash. So now moving on to dorms. The very first time D2E, their crossfires just got completely shut down in their attic take, though it started off well, did not end well. In the next round, Nemesis just got so tunnel visioned and distracted by that guy on Master Balk. It allowed D2E to push into attic fairly easily. It wasted a ton of utility, and was a big factor in why D2E was able to win it. If we don't see that, maybe Nemesis are in a better position, but I mean, like I said, D2E, it seems like they've started to figure out how they're playing it.
Well, going back to Yusuke too, right? Every single round we've seen Down2Earth win, Yusuke has popped off. But the rounds the Nemesis won, it might seem like really basic, analysis, but usually the rounds the Nemesis wins, they're the ones where Yusuke is the first opening pick against their team. He has fallen twice really early on in Laundry and inside dorms, and the first round we saw Down2Earth win in a very chaotic dorms last time, it's when Yusuke was trying to revive Kojin on that Master Balk. But it looks like that's not going to be happening this time around. Kojin's able to make his way inside Master Closet without taking it down his life yet. Yusuke is trying to go in forwards, trying to find one inside trophy, but Red's going to be the one to find the opening pick instead. The flanking Nomad is going to be going down. I don't think a single air jab has gone off in this game yet, but still, losing a body this early on, not a great start for Down2Earth, but they can bring it back if they collide their forces.
Yeah, that's pretty early. I think I agree. I doubt any air jabs had even been set up just yet. We've seen them be set up, but we haven't seen them go off. There was also a downstairs roamer to take that out. But Bonus quick with a trade. Red tries for a heads-up play. He tries to pop open the hatch and get those people in the middle of attic, as someone made the sound call that they're breaking the barbed wire right next to the hatch. But it'll work the other way around. As a famous caster once said, bulls work both ways. Now 4 versus 4 for D2E. They have attic control. They've got someone posted on the kid's window. They're starting to open the game's breach as well. But here's the position from Box. That was really big. Wow, Michael. Shooting the C4 out of the air, saving his own life. He's trying to look for the angle behind the sandbags. He'll spot the Malusi for a second, but he'll miss the shots. But even though he's not able to get the kill, that's still a C4 off the board, and they know where he's rotating back up. But Box is there for 2. Bales with 1 as well. What happened to this attack? It just got completely shut down because of the Jaeger's position behind that shield. D2E just couldn't fight it. And Yusuke playing close on the breach. That is such a slim angle to play. Falls prey to the shotgun. Nemesis recover the round. They take round number 6 and a 4-2 half.
That was such a great performance from Nemesis again, and we saw what the community poll thought, Crow. We saw the 80% in the favor of Down2Earth, and game number 1 is already looking really good for Nemesis.
Yeah, 4-2 half, though, is...
It's standard, but still, it's not what we were expecting to see.
Yeah, I think 3-3 was definitely in the books there for D2E, but when it mattered, they collapsed. Attic, again... Attic take was not great. They kind of... They took the control and then completely lost out to that Jaeger behind the shield. There was no clear of the utility either. There wasn't much going on except pushing into it and dying. I think he not only got the kill on the exile, but he also swung the window and got the second too. Unfortunately, we are gonna have to rehost because of the server. We were hosted on East. Although Nemesis started out by saying it was fine, apparently they were having ping issues. So, you know, swap off of it. Hopefully host on the right server this time.
I mean, yeah, I like East servers because I am from the East Coast, but you know, it's understandable. Oh yeah, you know what?
Standard.
I traveled through your state the other day. I was gonna send you a picture, but I thought that'd be too weird.
Of what?
Going through your state.
Where'd you go?
I passed Mystic Aquarium. I love Mystic. I love aquariums.
I haven't been there in a long time.
I haven't either. I can't even tell you the last time I went to an aquarium. You know what the best part is about aquariums? You remember those, I mean, obviously you probably can't have these now, those touch tanks where you dip your hands in and you kill like a stingray.
Oh,
Like
yeah, and you would like rub their back.
Yeah. Or like
those.
a starfish.
I remember those.
I love
think,
those.
or no, you can't have those probably because of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are fun.
I love those.
But what was I gonna say about the game?
Oh, right, the game. I mean, you know, in a way, it's kind of like a touch tank. I mean, it's not really like a touch tank, but you know, in the case of Nemesis, 4 and 2 is a really good opening. But I hate to say it too, right? Because it's kind of a, you know, it's kind of, it's cheap to say, right? But having the East servers for Nemesis, I'm wondering how much that had to do with them going for the 4-2 split. And now that we see the servers going to West, to Central, I'm wondering now if Kafe is going to be the well, you know, a far different result. We already thought it was going to be a far different result because of Down2Earth, you know, it's their favorite map. But given what we've seen already on Oregon, we could see an explosively different team.
That's possible. I don't know how much ping came into play. Higher ping, you know, swinging people on higher ping. I'm pretty sure if you're swinging someone, higher ping gives you an advantage because like you're there before the server says you are.
Yeah,
you just kill them. I definitely think it's a factor that we can't ignore.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it's quite the game-changing one. Of course, we'll have to see. You could be right, and then we could just see D2E just completely, you know.
I mean, I'm Mr. 58%, so
that is true
for some reason.
But we'll have to wait. Of course, we're just trying to get all the players back in the lobby and stuff. I don't know how many people we actually have in the lobby, but you know.
In the meantime, though, you know, people watching in Twitch chat, they can always go to SCS Esports and go follow them, see the updates as well if you can't catch one of the streams, or go to scsesports.com and check out the playdays as well, or even the registration information. If you're a team that thinks that they can do well on Central servers, why not go check it out there? Sign up for the next season and all that other fun stuff, and maybe we'll be able to cast you.
I don't know when the next season is.
I mean, it's gonna be yeah.
It'll be whenever. You know, you can follow Twitter, stay updated on when that'll be and stuff. Someone just. Right,
you know what we never finished?
What?
Those books behind you.
What do you mean finished?
Well, we never went over what books they were. I think you said like one title. That vibration's back. I don't know what it is.
That's pretty funny.
I have it.
Comes and goes.
It does.
It's like you're haunted.
I'm haunted by the vibration ghost. I'm haunted by an earthquake.
You know, I got books.
Yeah, I'm glad. Well, what kind of books?
This is one of my favorite books. This book.
Our Dumb World. That's a very you book.
Great freaking book.
That is a very you book.
Incredible book. Have you read it?
No, I can't even tell you the last time I read a book.
Oh my god, it's by The Onion.
Of course it is.
Dude. It's pretty. Here, wait. You want me to read the passage about your state?
Oh no, you have talked about this, and a lot of the stuff is like not safe for. But yeah, let's hear about Rhode Island.
I'll see if it's safe. I'll read over it first.
I just came back from my Rhode Island class. About learning about the War of 1812 and the trade commerce between England, France, and Canada. But it's gonna be a full rehost as well, so we're having to get everybody back into lobbies like individually. It's not just the pause timer going into effect. That means we have to get out of the game, wait for the servers to act up with us, go into a whole new server, bring everybody in, get the match history back down, and start it back up. So it's gonna take a little bit longer than usual, but
I thought everyone already knew that because we had to rehost servers. Of course, we're gonna have to do a full rehost.
Well, I mean, not everyone knows the production side of things.
Come on, idiots! Oh, we're also getting a new observer.
Well, let's hear about Rhode Island.
All right. Oh, it's just jokes about how how people always compare like the sizes of stuff to the size of Rhode Island. It's so tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all the joke is. It's not that funny.
Okay. Did you know that Rhode Island was the birth of the Industrial Revolution in America?
I wouldn't doubt it because it's in the Northeast.
Yeah. I'm really wondering what that is, that vibration.
It's me. My bad. I'm sorry. Wait, I could read the passage. I read the passage on Israel.
Oh no.
Because I know you're Jewish.
Well, we both
And
are.
I'm half Jewish. Yeah.
Are we
Do I count as being half Jewish?
Is it your mom or your dad?
It's my dad.
It's my dad too. So I would say yes. Even though technically it's only through mothers. It gets louder and it gets softer.
I can't read that.
Yeah, I kind of figured. What is that vibration?
Wow. Yeah, I can't read that.
I found it.
You found it? What was it?
Wait. I did find it. It's my toothbrush. I just got back from
It was a toothbrush.
It was my toothbrush on my bed.
It was just on?
Yeah. Well, the thing was, right, I went to my cousin's house to go film a commercial the other day, and I was using my toothbrush. Oh, we are starting again. I could not turn my toothbrush off.
Wow.
We are going back
That's
into
pretty
things.
incredible.
All right, here we go. We are back. Round number 7. I finally turned it off. Don't have to listen to that weird vibrating anymore. But hey, I mean, look, again, we're changing back to the central servers. Things could be different now for Down2Earth, but we're going to have to wait and see here.
Ow, my leg.
Are you good?
That hurt. I spun back around in my chair and I hit my keyboard drawer.
Your keyboard drawer?
Yeah, I have a keyboard drawer.
Oh, those are weird. I always think those are going to break so quickly.
Yeah, me too, especially how much I slam it, like when I'm driving and stuff.
Do you see what I see?
I hit it a lot. Aruni?
Yeah.
Aruni's cool.
I like Aruni.
Guarantee he's not playing with the DMR though, because he's not a weirdo.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Roni on Aruni 2 is also really good. The Aruni, but it's really, really nice.
The P10 Aruni.
I hate you. But every time we've seen Aruni in play, it hasn't really been that impactful to change around. It's kind of like a diet castle almost. It is really cool that you can put it not in doorways, like on, soft walls. But again, it just hasn't really been too beneficial other than maybe some slight rotates, which we're going to see here. So the Aruni gate, I believe, would go up on that rotate to make sure no one can go on by as an attacker without using some utility or maybe even some of their health. But overall, it's a little impactful, but I really want to see what Exile can do here.
Where are they going to be putting it? So,
well, definitely one here.
They're already extending into tower. I wonder if they'll probably be playing for a pocket reinforcement, I imagine. So one standard on your trophy wall, or on the trophy doorway. Not sure where the other ones are. I guess we just won't know. But
we can pretend.
We can. It's
every
really
doorway
what D2 are doing.
Every doorway we see could be like a Jack-in-the-Box. Any one of them could have the Aruni on it.
Oh, okay. So D2 are extending in a tower, and it looks like Nemesis are just going to try and circumvent it by going downstairs and maybe doing a big... Could be doing a big window kids take?
I don't know how I feel about that, because we've been seeing a lot of those vertical holes like we do see right now from the drone of the Zofia, of a lot of people using that counter verticality to really make sure no one can get into these hallways without being able to sacrifice something, other bullets, maybe their lives themselves, and it makes those big window takes really difficult at times. Look at Kojin, the entire floor is completely gone. Exile's able to find the opening pick on big windows, but there's still another one. Boji's already going to fall. It's going to leave yet another. I believe that's be Joe as well. One of the two hard breachers, one already being so heavily damaged that they're going to lose their lives too. They have no choice but to go through kids. Air jab's going to suffice. Able to find Yusuke as well. He's got to rotate back down and go up through a different venture. But Bales and company, Box especially, going up white stairs, not going to find a lot right away. But going up, we could see some results, especially I believe that it is going to be Kojin waiting at the very bottom in between the rotate hole, looking for that next kill. Oh, it's Novozo.
Exile also taking some damage from below. The biggest thing to mention is that not only is Boji down, or not only is Boji dead, but Joe is also very low HP. If you're able to finish off Joe, you pretty much deny any chance for Nemesis to try and rotate the push later into the round if they so choose to. Novozo does go down, though, to the player on the white stairs. Red X downstairs also take out Yusuke. Exile still in his position behind Metal, trying to play around the big window, but see that hole in the floor will prevent him from rotating away. He's pretty much stuck on this angle. Joe wanting to jump in. Box has been downed, not finished off, though. Bale's trying to push up. He'll have to contest with Bone holding the white stairs right now. D2E, though they've lost the man advantage, are still holding firm. These positions you don't really need more than one person holding, and there's the presence bottom white. Exile through those floor holes, able to take out one player, and Bone with another. 3 versus 2. Here comes the rotation of the push. They figure that this white window push can't work. And unfortunately for Joe, he doesn't wait till the Aruni is fully deactivated. He gets downed off by it, finished off by Bone. It's red. It's just 1 HP. And Exile lands the headshot. Down to Earth. They take round number 7.
Definitely my first time ever seeing a dorm hold with an Aruni, and it worked pretty effectively, I would say. It seemed like at times Nemesis were a little perplexed about how they wanted to go for the initial attack, or maybe even the end result of the attack. They almost got to the site multiple times, but each different time they attempted to do so, they weren't playing off each other's lives. There was no trade potential coming out, and one by one they filed in and were taken down accordingly.
Yeah, I really thought that downstairs presence was going to be good. You saw it cornered off Exile into one specific location behind that metal bunker, but the problem with that is that if he doesn't expose himself to those floor holes, you don't have any other way to take him out. Like, there's no other pressure anywhere, so he can just chill and fight big window and make sure that you can't go through it. In fact, he even, because that Zofia was down, he took that opportunity to be like, okay, that's going to be one less player pushing white. I'll peek this, and he got his kill. It was actually, I think, a 3K, actually, for Exile on the Aruni. So
just goes to show how cool Aruni is.
yeah, that was definitely a really good defense, especially because, you know, Maverick is dead. Hibana is very low. They by the time they actually switched up the push, they didn't even have time to get their hard breach down and open up the game's wall. Joe, unfortunately, so fun fact, when you burn an Aruni gate with a stun like that, it still takes a second for it to fully deactivate. If you run into it while it's still flickering, you take the damage. And he was only at like 20 or so. So he went down.
Not the best place to be. And now it's only a 1-point differential between both these teams, right? Down to Earth only needs this next round, or potentially even one more round to even it up between Nemesis. Early entry into small tower coming out from box already. It's not going to find a lot immediately, but we do see a heavy roam clear game coming out from Nemesis. I don't think they're going to find a lot either. Just like how Down to Earth tried to roam clear the top 2 floors against Nemesis, when they were on the defense, they're not going to find a whole lot. The only thing they might find a little bit different is a huge extension going into Fridge, but we also saw that coming out from Nemesis just at a much smaller level.
Yeah, I'm surprised they've actually just fully opened this wall. Like,
and no Aruni.
Huge! It's fully open. They don't even have a shield covering it. Oh, never mind. I think the smoke shield is coming out to cover it from the cubby. So, I mean, you got something. Well, no, it's not even really watching that big rotate. It's for laundry instead. D2E right now are assuming that Nemesis are going to be doing a freezer laundry push. At least that's what it looks like with the utility. Now, Nemesis have set up their air jabs. They are prepared to go for it, but they've also opened E-Box. You can never forget that even when a push is going Laundry Freezer, there's almost always at least one attacker coming down from either tower or E-Box to get a pinch going. Now, D2E do look like they have most of, if not all, their bases covered, no matter what Nemesis decides to do. We'll just have to see how they react once Nemesis actually goes through this push. I mean, still, there's only 1:20 left. We still can't really see a solid, defined plan of action right now from Nemesis.
No, it definitely seems very clinical and experimental coming out from Nemesis here. It's kind of like an experimental procedure almost, right? You're trying to figure out what the root cause is and how to solve it. But Red, closest one right now to having the scalpel in hand, is poking down at the bottom of the main. Now, Navoso's right across the area. He might be able to find the line of sight, but Kojin could as well. Different lines of sight against this Ash here could be an instant death. The smoke grenade does go down as well. The Toxic Babe stifling a bit of the attack, but they use it as cover as well. They're able to get on by. It's going to be some damage taken up against Red, but not enough to secure the kill. Toxic Babe number 2 goes down, and with 40 seconds left, still both these teams having that double prong push are making a lot more headroom against Down2Earth. The thing is, though, Down2Earth are really good at their kills. They're really good at those lines of sights and those quick peeks. Bone, especially, he's able to find Bales right off the rip. The Nomad goes down first again. But with 20 seconds left now, this push was really good in the beginning, but they're taking advantage of the open hole. But it doesn't matter. Down2Earth is melting them down like brass and steel. One left alive. Red now the first one to get down onto the site is the last one alive. Everyone here goes around is surrounded completely. It's a flawless round.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It's an interesting font. It's like one of those clickbaity thumbnail fonts.
It's all gold too. Really, really good hold by D2E. Like I said, they had all their bases covered, and not a single person, at least it didn't look like from Nemesis, actually went, you know, E-Box. Maybe that's where the Nomad died, because I didn't see her over towards Freezer or Laundry. But either way, you lose that. You try pushing in Freezer. I think they down the Jaeger, but there's like 2 people still there from the defense watching it. So your Freezer push gets shut down. Another player inside of Laundry is dead. I mean, everywhere Nemesis tried to go, they lost their fights. So that was really well done by D2E, covering all those angles. And we're back to an even scoreline. We're back to an even 4-4. Overtime might be in the books, but you know, unless Nemesis have the same kind of turnaround that D2E had on their attack, D2E might be the more dominant team on defense.
Yeah, it's tough because we saw such a really decisive lead for Nemesis in the first half, right? But now they're on the debatably more difficult attack here on Oregon, or at least the modern day Oregon. And Down2Earth on the defense, they've looked almost impenetrable at times. In the the last few rounds we have seen on their defense, especially in the last 2, Crow, we haven't seen a single member of Nemesis actually get onto a bomb site.
Oh, that's a good point.
Not once. They've come millimeters close.
That is a good point, actually. Yeah, they haven't actually touched the bomb site yet. Well. We'll see if this is the round. Third attack's the charm.
Oh, Box going for these.
Will they get on the bomb site?
Well, another thing too for Nemesis, right, is that again they're not really playing off each other's trades. There's no trade potential coming out. We did see some of that coming down from the Ash and the Hibana on main lobby, but otherwise they're getting melted down completely, like we saw in Freezer. Even when we do have trade potential coming down, like we saw the 2 groups of 2 play in Laundry, no one's confirming these kills that the Down2Earth are getting. And now we see these roam clears going in pretty much by themselves, which of course is to be expected. But when you have juggernauts like Kojin on the Alda pretty much playing by themselves in kitchen, you have to really watch out for what is seemingly an automated turret, especially when a single barricade's the only thing protecting you.
Already though, Nemesis have made their way into dining. Next step here is going to be to take these defenders outside of dorms. Make sure you flush out the top floor. Make sure they can't deny that presence vertically, because I mean, as long as you hold kids' dorms, the attackers you just cannot play in kitchen. You just cannot take it. Kojin gets droned out, but is somehow able to avoid the Nomad and split. At least for now. He's got the barricade to play around. Boji takes a lot of damage. The Nomad's sitting inside here. He's getting pressured out. Navoso gets the first kill on the Joe. There's a refrag from Bone, but Kojin and Red respond in kind. Yusuke tags on as well. It's a 2 versus 3. Make it even man count, as there's actually backside presence from Red. Caught in the Melusi, though. Boji going to take a ton of damage, down to just 1 HP. Red also extremely low, but he is upstairs. I'm not quite sure if that upstairs player is aware of it. Exile is actually back downstairs, so no one from D2E is still up there. Red right now is on a wild goose chase, and he's leaving his teammate alone on the site. D2E know about this as Red drops down the hatch to try and play with his teammate. Potentially collapsing these last two attackers, but Exile goes down to 1 HP. But he's going to try and get this plant down. Gas canisters from Exile are still up, but here comes the swing from Yusuke. Red X still preoccupied with the utility on the stage, just not going to cover his teammate's plant at all. That was easy to know for Yusuke. Now it's a 2 versus 1, 30 seconds left. You only need to land one shot into Exile, but Yusuke is still full HP. Red will see Exile's head just above the metal container, but can't land the shot just yet. He's got a plant behind these sandbags. He's got no other choices, only 20 seconds. We'll try and bait it out.
He's surrounded.
Michael has no clue where he is, but no! Red missed the shots! He's only 1 HP, you gotta hit those! He'll wrap around over towards Split, but Yusuke's already tucked in the corner. Down to Earth, they take round number 9. The trades go everywhere, but they come out on top.
Holy, that was a messy round for everybody. But it's also a tertiary bomb site. Having messiness is to be expected. That was by no means a very clinical play from either team there. And Kojin, he held down the fort almost the entire time. It was almost a 1v3 at times, trying to get their way into meeting from Nemesis' side. And even then, that single Aldo was able to stifle them for only so long. That was the only time we have seen Nemesis get onto a bomb site. And again, there was no coverage. There was no trade potential coming down for the post plant, if there was one.
Yeah, that plant spot from the Maverick, I know he did it out of, I mean, nothing else but desperation for the clock. But, I mean, your ashes on stage. I'm not quite sure where the miscommunication was, whether they thought Red was in a position to cover or whether the Maverick thought that he was closer. I don't know. I don't know whose fault that was, but that was not the way to play it. You were getting the plant down with no help, buddy. Yusuke was, and you know that the kitchen wall is open. You know they can come through Split. You don't have any coverage there. I mean, Yusuke just walked in. That was the easiest plant denial I've ever seen, especially with the Maverick on so low HP. Down to Earth, they've now taken the lead, a lead that they have not had yet in this entire map. They've certainly turned things around in the second half.
That's right. They only need 2 more points to bring this to map number 2, and they've been on a huge upwards trajectory to do it too, right? We do see Exile bringing out Rooney again. It was pretty impactful.
Ooh, okay. It's the same tower hold.
Yeah, I would say that was the most impactful Rooney I've ever seen in competitive play. But
it actually downed someone.
Yeah, it did. It worked. It did something other than, you know, be a 2-second annoyance. Now we have to see if they can do it again. Nemesis on both teams really have been going for the same attacks over and over again. This is the time for Nemesis to change things up, and we have to see if they want to do so or if they're going to go for the same exact patterns again. We do see Red trying to find a little bit of poking and prodding inside the split window on the 2 bomb sites above, but it's not going to find a whole lot right away other than a few pop shots. In fact, this is pretty much deja vu, the same exact push we saw from the last time they were on dorms.
Yeah, I mean, this is almost the same thing. Tails takes a little bit of damage from above because, you know, the defenders know what's up. They know it's going to go down. Vozo unfortunately puts down that jammer either a little bit too late or just out of range of the pellets, so Hibana will be able to get some of her hard breach off. Half of it's jammed, but it's better than nothing. Now you've got that sight line. You even got, I think you can crouch. I think you can vault through that. You got an avenue into the site. Here comes the white stairs push, though. Exile has the hole from above. They're starting to shoot pot shots at him. Neither player will hit through the floor. But Box is pushed up pretty far. I don't know if any of the defenders are exactly covering white, but that is a great kill from Exile. He'll get one before he's immediately traded back. But here's the kicker. That was Diffuser. Yeah, now you have to rotate an attacker all the way there. And that is a massive time commitment. Box does get a second one after finishing off Exile, but Red now on very low HP. A downstairs player still from Yusuke distracting this attack. Nemesis are able to confirm, or finally pick up the Diffuser as Box takes a ton of damage. Yusuke starts to fall back. It's a 3 versus 4, but again, this is the same situation Down to Earth were in last time, and they came out on top. There's 2 kills in quick succession, and the round should be for Down to Earth, but there is fight back. Bales does take out one, but only 1 HP for Box.
That's right. 30 seconds left. That diffuser goes down for a second time right outside Kid's window. We could see Box bring it back
There
again
it
with the
is.
smoke grenade. Wombo combo comes through. One left alive. It's up to Bales. We've seen him in these 1vx situations before, and he's done well, but that was on the defense. 20 seconds left. This seems to be a little undoable here. He could push up. He has no idea seemingly where anyone is. That Rooney gate's going to come back open yet again. The Banshee's going to detect him from the back, but it doesn't matter. Kojin has a line of sight, and Down2Earth now on match point.
3K for Kojin the smoke.
Oh, did you see the animation of the 5 going to the 6?
I actually did not. I didn't see it.
Oh, that was so cool. I think it's happened every round. I just only noticed now.
Is it on our overlay or
Yeah,
on the in-game one?
Our overlay.
Oh, yeah. I haven't been because every time the round ends, I just look at my notes and write stuff down. I'll make sure to pay attention next time. I'll look. Really good round again from D2E. Pretty similar hold. And again, Exile, though he was finally pressured out by those downstairs players, he still got the pick. He still killed the guy out big window. The only guy there dropped diffuser. Huge time commitment from Nemesis to try and go ahead and pick that back up. They tried to walk up white stairs. They got shut down. Again, trades were back and forth. You know, Nemesis did keep in step, but at the end of the day, in that 2 versus 2, in such a massive HP deficit from the attackers with the positions that D2E were holding, you know, you have the smoke inside of Kids. You can stop anyone jumping in. Yusuke even had trophy control still in his hands. I mean, it was going to be pretty hard for D2E to lose that.
This
now we
is
see
a very different
this
one.
is a completely different laundry hold. They're going for almost like the quote-unquote, like almost, SSG-esque roam. They're going for the drone denial, castle, extending kitchen meeting, open up E-Box hatch. We see Parabellum do this all the time. We see plenty of other teams do this all the time. So it's not strange that D2E are bringing this out as well.
No, but what has been strange, and again, between both defense teams, we really haven't seen any dedicated... Saying no roamers is a lie. We have seen overextension roams. We have seen a tiny bit of roaming coming out from Down2Earth's defense, but no dedicated, like far outside, potentially going for a flank roamer. And I'm wondering now, because we haven't seen a Vigil up until now, what is Bone going to do with this? We do see a lot of early control coming out from small tower. It's not going to amount to a whole lot just yet, but Vigil's not anywhere nearby. In fact, this is going to be on top of meeting in E-Box. They've already opened up the hatch. They're waiting for anyone to come by blue. But Crow, that also means if that Vigil falls, that could be the whole round right there.
That is true. If this roam goes down, that's free, you know, a free open E-Box for the attack. But
Oh!
that,
Holy
wow.
crap!
Nivozo, top freezer stairs, rips the head off of OG. Down goes your Maverick. Your Maverick. That's huge.
To be fair, E-Box is already open, though.
Uh,
So it's
that's-
not the
that's a good
end
point.
of the world. It's just pretty
But-
close to the end of
But
the
if
world.
they do take Pillar, it's going to be harder to open up that single panel wall.
That's
Red
true.
X is also very low on HP. Yusuke able to escape into Freezer and drop down the hatch before he's pressured all too much. So it is 1-for-1, but losing your Maverick like that, definitely a hell of a lot more detrimental than losing your Mute. That is a fantastic angle from Bone. Down long, able to rip the head off of Bales. And that's one of those full HP players. They still haven't killed Red, which is a huge boon for this defense. The more of these full HP players that you're able to kill while leaving the one-shot player up, it's absolutely massive. A lot of people, I feel like, understate the power of lighting someone up and having them be one of the last members. And Bone, after that kill, still hasn't fallen back down to the site either. He's still on the prowl. He's still hunting for more.
He's a completely unchecked spider monkey right now, looming in the jungles above. Box
Oh,
is able
never
to
mind.
find Bone. Never mind, the monkey's been hunted, so I guess that doesn't quite work anymore. But with a minute left now, you've still had that immense pressure from the Vigil. Really stifles so much time. The castle's still alive, but he did relegate himself down to the freezer, so E-Box is in the possession of Nemesis. They have control of it. There is no more roamers upstairs. They have all the control they need up there, so that's not the worry anymore. The issue is now they have to worry about the entirety of the rest of the map and the bomb sites that are most important, and almost sub 30 seconds to do it. First Toxababe goes down, but the bodies are already falling. Yusuke's able to buy one. Never mind, make that two. That's going to be Red the Fall in the same exact spot, but there's still one more. It's going to be Joe. He's been unaccounted for. He does have a great angle. Pre-fire is able to connect with him twice now, but no, none of the angles are able to be found. It's going to be Kojin that gets it instead. And that is almost a flawless run back against Nemesis in map number 1.
I just saw the little animation you were talking about. That's cool.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Well,
So,
holy.
that server change. I guess Nemesis Nemesis should have stayed on East. As soon as we switched servers, D2E took 5 rounds in a row.
I really don't know.
5 in a row on their defense.
It's one of those things where it's like, if you're winning, why change the servers, right? I mean, that's not the most professional thing to do.
It was for one of his teammates just because they were high paid, which is,
that's
I mean, that's true. That's what you should do. But
yeah, you should do that.
Down to Earth, just after that rehost, took every single round in stride. I mean, the closest that Nemesis came to winning was a 1v2. Not even any 1v1s. They didn't get any plants down during that entire half. D2E, I mean, they were just absolutely dominant. Now, that was D2E's map pick. Heading on to Kafe, Nemesis better have something more in store.
I mean, they have done so well in SCS, right? I think Down to Earth by now, I think it's safe to say their biggest single strength is their gunfights. Absolutely their gunfights. Their strategy is amazing. Their coordination's really good, but their gunfights are beyond any other team I think we've seen SCS. But that doesn't stop other teams like Nemesis, though. If you have that superior coordination and that control of a map, we have seen teams like Nemesis bring it out. And they got 4 rounds off of Down to Earth. And sure, that was before a server change, but we're got to see if they can run it back and maybe put up higher numbers for Kafe.
Yeah, Kafe is, again, it's going to be a big question mark, but 7-4 is the score for Oregon. That is a huge 3 points for D2E. Much needed. They now have 6?
A lot of points.
I think they have 6. They are tied with somebody? Tied with Ariel, maybe? Or, no, sorry. I think they're tied with ex-Wichita Wolves. So if they take another, I think they tie with Ariel Arise, maybe. I don't remember Ariel's score. But either way, great position to be in if you're D2E. Only 1 map to go, and you put yourself in winning contention, no longer in the bottom 2.
Yeah, I mean, Down to Earth, they showed up after that server change, and now you're going, if you're Nemesis, you're going to that map that I think historically, again, Down to Earth has done magnificent on. That's going to be scary. We have to see more map control. We might have to see even more of a higher roam game coming out against D2E and just kind of stifle their attacks when they are on the attacks before they're even able to make an execute. We saw a lot of beauty in that too. Remember when Kojin was on balcony and that whole team got distracted by that? It didn't go in Nemesis's favor. It almost did, but if they're able to take something like that and make it work, this Kafe could be a good one for them.
Yeah, I think D2E definitely struggle when you take your brains out, put it on the desk, and you just run at them. Run at them. Take the gunfights. Play aggressive. Catch them off guard. D2E are not as passive as Neo, but they're not as chaotic as Aerial Arise. They're kind of somewhere in the middle, so they still can fall victim to hyper-aggressive, just gunfight-heavy teams like Aerial. That's a big reason why Aerial Arise was able to 2-0 them. A big reason why No Plants was able to take a map off of them on Consulate, specifically a map that leans into more of that gunfight heavy meta. So if Nemesis want to take any chance against D2E, they need to ramp up the aggression, because so far what we've seen in the past, not only the past previous 2 Playdays, but this one as well, is that they try to play structured. And I mean, that's great, but it doesn't matter how structured you are if you're just not winning your fights.
Absolutely, and we need to see more of those gunfights go into the favor of Nemesis too if you want to see them at least take 1-1 this week for them. But as of now, we didn't see any of those gunfights go into the favor of Nemesis in that second half. Not once. I mean, sure, they got kills, don't get me wrong, but that's when they caught people on Down to Earth off guard. And for the most part, we saw a lot of flawless rounds go in the favor of D2E.
Yeah, a lot of those straight-up gunfights was going, at least initially, towards D2E. Again, really good trade game in some of those rounds from Nemesis. But D2E, again, after the trades went down and the dust settled and it was like a 3v2 or a 4v3, even if it was in Nemesis' favor, the positions being held by D2E were still just so stalwart that they couldn't be broken. And here we have the stats. Yusuke popping off.
This was a Yusuke game.
13-5, a 1.45 rating, leading the charge not only for his team but in the lobby as well. Bale's not far behind, 11-7, certainly not a scoreline to scoff at, but I definitely want to highlight Bone. 10-8, +2, 1.24 rating, 81% cost for your entry player, for your Zofia Jaeger. And then Exile, 1.21 rating. I mean, sure, he's only +1 in the KD, but his entry, best in the lobby, 3-1, 90% cost on Maverick Smoke. We always talk about Exile. We always talk about how good of a player he is, and just so far through every single SCS Playday, he's proved our point.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Exile have a bad game yet. Sure, there have been games where they've lost, but in terms of consistency for him, he's pretty consistent with the rest of his team. There's no individual games where he does not underperform. And honestly, you know, going into this, I don't think any player in this lobby really severely underperformed. Sure, we do have Boji going 2-9. That's not great. But given the fact that you are on the Melusi and holding down the site and not roaming, I wouldn't say that's the worst in the world. There's definitely worse situations to be in, but it's still not the best.
Yeah, because you still got players, you know, like Navozo going 6-8 on Nomad. So Boji definitely lagging behind. But we are going to take a quick break. We have one more map after this, and we got to set up the lobby. We got to make sure the players get, you know, a little time to themselves to get water and do all that stuff. I got to get water. So don't go anywhere. We'll have a 3-minute break, and we will be back with Kafe just after this.
Hello, and welcome back, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Back.
Oh, look at my hair.
Dude, your hair. Dude, we're both having rough days.
Yeah.
Like, I took a shower, and like, you know how, all right, everyone who sees me normally knows that my hair is typically like it's just over. It's just straight. Like, what happened? Like, look at this.
Yeah, I don't know. You have
So
weird
messy.
hair. Because yours is really wavy. Mine's really wavy too. The headset kind of kills it. But I've been
that wavy.
it's
I don't know
very
why
wavy.
it's wavy now. Normally it's straight. That's the thing. But I guess my hair is currently just as straight as I am.
I
Which is not very.
I've been trying different hair products, right? Chief recommended this one, it didn't work. But I've been trying just raw shea butter. Like I have a sack of shea butter before we get into the game here.
Oh, is that the white stuff in your hair you were talking about earlier?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just raw shea butter. Speaking of white stuff, though, we're gonna be going to the snowy landscape of Kafe.
Oh, good transition.
Thank you. I was like, oh, how do I go into the two together? But here we go. Let's see how this goes down. I don't think it's gonna be any crazy operator bans again. Nemesis and Down2Earth. I mean, we saw what happened before. We saw the beginning of Nemesis versus Down2Earth on Oregon be really in the favor of Nemesis. But then we changed servers, and from there on, it was almost flawlessly into the favor of D2E. I expect that trend to continue. I'd be surprised if it doesn't, but right away, Crow, we see Buck go down.
A
Okay.
buck ban. So buck bans serve one purpose. No, well, two purposes. One, counter ban. Two, they make taking cocktail just that much harder. You got to use your Ash, you got to use your Zoph. And that means when you use your Ash and your Zoph for upwards verticality, you have less to play with when it comes to taking out utility. So that's kind of mainly what that buck ban is for. That's really the only site it affects. Unless you're also like, hey, they bring Buck and Sledge together a lot, so we'll just, you know, take out one because we don't want them to have both. Whatever. That's really the only reason ever for a buck ban. Ace and Mira also make a hell of a lot of sense. Ace, very powerful hard breacher. Of course, Michael knows that. Gavin Lava Griffiths is watching the stream, so he's telling him that it's his move on 8-ball. Just freaking playing 8-ball during a game. Focus up, Michael. Focus up. I want to get this game over so we can watch Plastic Memories tonight, man.
I haven't seen Plastic Memories yet.
Oh, dude, it is. Anyone who's ever seen it will tell you that it's goated. Best romance I've ever seen. Anime.
I'm trying to think of the best romance like movie in general I've seen. Is Casablanca a romantic movie?
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
That is a very good movie.
There you go.
Have you read the books?
Dude, no, but dude, I hadn't seen it, and then I watched it in a big watch party with like I think Adam and Devin, and like there was a bunch of people. Oh my god, it was so good.
It is a fantastic movie.
It's so funny. It's my kind of humor too.
Are you just a big Michael Cera fan?
I do like Michael Cera. He's kind of typecast a lot, but I do like the typecast that he is. And the Scott Pilgrim humor was just a real. Oh, what was it? Nega Scott. and then they're like your most powerful opponent. He comes back. He's like, oh yeah, we got a brunch date. Turns out he's a pretty nice guy.
It's crazy how much they deviated from the original material. The book is completely different.
Really?
But not too different. Like entire chapters will be condensed down into like a scene.
One of the funniest scenes was the landlord in the bed with the 3 other dudes. And then they all wake up because they're all in bed together.
Bread makes you fat? I think about that all the time, whenever I eat anything. Oh, we're in game, by the way. Also, something interesting, right? They have Lamai on the board. Usually we see Lamai banned a lot on Kafe, and it allows, a much easier pixel take for an attacking team, but no, Lamai's here. We might see a little bit more pixel coverage now, but, given the newest meta, or at least now, I guess as of 2 seasons ago, it hasn't really been too effective. We are going to see a little bit of it there.
Yeah, so not only covering pixel, but you can also fall back to bathroom and have the Lamai cover that as well. Lamai pretty universally useful, I guess, on the top floor site. So Nemesis, already they're droning below, and it looks like this is just the exact take that Down2Earth were trying to counter out with the buck ban. It looks like they want to go bottom up. They want to try and clear people in freezer, clear cocktail. Box is already in position to. It is strange that they're going for this without an Ash and solely relying on the Zofia and maybe the nades from red. But here comes the clear. Already Box taking the fight. He's going to deal about equal damage to Kojin, but now you've lost both of your impacts. Still got 2 nades on Sledge, but I mean, that's about it. You don't really have a lot of destruction to go off of. But as I say that, well-placed nade from red. He'll get the first kill of the map.
Oh, Yusuke's in a weird spot right now. He does know that one's going to be repelled on the upper right behind the chassis there. But if he's able to land the shot, it's probably not worth the risk either, right? Exile's in a better position too. There's probably a Claymore right outside that white window. He could jump out and find that Nomad, but is it worth it? Again, no, especially when you're in a 5v4. There's a minute and 14 left though, Harrison. This is not a do or die situation for either team just yet, but as every second comes by, it's getting closer and closer to that mark. As of yet though, none of the attackers have gone onto the site just yet, and Nemesis, if you remember, on Oregon, they only really got onto a bomb site once on the attack, and it seemed like they're struggling with that again. They have all these different angles, all this different coverage, but as of yet, none of the defenders are taking the bait. They're all looking for the pre-fire shots. They're all looking for whatever they can, but it's a very unorthodox play coming through. The C4 is not going to connect, but Exile's able to find the opening kill against the other team. With that being said, though, still White Stairs controls. Diffuser's down. Red needs to cover it as well. There could be a run out that comes by, but that's not going to be the case. Exile's already in. He's able to find two that try to make their way into the building, and now the bodies are falling away. There's only two left alive now. 20 seconds left on the clock. Bale's trying to go for the same upside down peak as he has for the last minute and a half. Still not able to find anybody yet, but has a lot of pressure going forwards.
Oh, no.
Could find it from below. Finds the gun. Shoots their skull on a triple kill from Exile. But what about Red? If he jumps down, he has to go for the same traditional take, and now he has to clear everything out in 5 seconds. It's a do or die, and quite literally a die one. Bone's able to find it, and Down to Earth, they win that so effectively. Now, Crow, going into this, right, I wasn't too familiar with how Nemesis likes to attack, so I thought having the buck ban was really, really weird. Obviously, you can do stuff with it in Cocktail, right, but having buck go down, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. But when we saw the counter vertical play coming out from Nemesis on the attack, it all instantly started to click.
Yeah, I mean, they only had Zoph and Sledge to work with, and Sledge wasn't even below. So limited destructibility. They're all on the windows. They start to get shut down. Exile gets a massive triple kill. Everyone from Nemesis was just kind of like, was just running around, you know, and then the Nomad upside down repels. And
That was for a while.
Exile's just sitting there, just waiting under the window because he hears it. He knows it's coming. So, I mean, that was a really good defense from D2E. They knew exactly what Nemesis was going to do, and they knew exactly how to counter. You even got Yusuke. He's covering White Stairs, making sure no one can flank like where Exile and his team was playing inside of Freezer. And I think Exile was in C1? I couldn't tell if he was C1 or C2, but he was between one of the cocktail bars to get the kill on, you know, the Sledge and then following it up, so.
Can I ask a really dumb question? As a caster for this game, I should know the answer.
Which one is C1?
No.
Okay.
The instance, right, where the Nomad repels over the roof, the gun itself on the bodies of anybody isn't part of the damage box, right?
Yes.
Oh, so if you shoot the gun, it's not going to kill anybody?
Nothing happens, no.
Okay. Because I was wondering, like, where does it begin and where does it end? Because obviously you have the models and the guns are separate.
It is solely, it stops at the hands.
Okay.
And then if you're, like, Lion or Maestro, the backpack is also not part of the hitbox.
Interesting. No, we actually we saw that
do not count
in the DZ Pro-Am. We actually saw an instance, at least on our stream.
Yeah, we did. What was it? It was the Lion.
Oh, it was you, Cassie, on Theme Park, where the Lion was shot in the back, and it did nothing. All of his soup cans, whatever he keeps in there, fell out.
It was pretty funny. So, and I mean, the sad fact as well for that Nomad, like, you can't avoid dying there. Like, if someone's waiting for you at the bottom of the window, you just can't. You're just dead. You have to accept it.
But look at this take.
What happened to that Hibana charge?
I don't know.
There were only 3.
I haven't seen a take like this in maybe 6 months.
Oh! Perfectly timed! Well played from Devozo. He'll go and pick the Electro Claw back up as well because there's already another one. And once the Thatcher debuff is gone, there you go. It's back to being electrified. That was really well played by Devozo. And look at that. You knock off all of Joe's hard breaching. And what does he have open to show for it? A 4-pellet Hibana hole on the prep wall. Bales is also going to take a ton of damage from Exile holding inside of Mining. Nemesis, they're going to have to try and go upstairs to compensate for their lack of hard breach and the fact that they couldn't get Bakery open. In fact, they might have to completely switch up the push. Now, that's something that will go their way. Red does take out Exile, and there's another kill as Bone gets a little bit too aggressive on the window. So Nemesis start to take things back. They have a 2-man lead now.
They do have a two-man lead, Crow, and I'm wondering how much they can use that to their advantage. They had a bit of a lead in the beginning of last round too, but the bodies are gonna start falling against them too. Seemingly through the wall onto the ceiling, Kojin's able to find Joe, and it's still a 4v3 in their favor. It was a much more decisive one than they had in the first round, but with a minute left, they don't have that diffuser anywhere near the bomb site. In fact, with Kojin, you able to find that first kill on the Joe? I'm wondering if they even know where that Maestro was. They probably have a relative guess, but it could be seemingly anywhere down below at this point. With the rotate still going through, 45 seconds left. No idea at all where anybody on Down to Earth could be in the roam game anymore either. There's not a lot of clearing really going through for Nemesis. Look at Kojin, especially Crow. He is holding down tight. He seemingly knows where everyone is. And if anyone pushes through Mini, this could, I'm sorry, Prep, this could be an instant death, but never mind. Doesn't quite go the way that I thought. 23 seconds left, man.
Fox probably heard the sound cue as Maestro is pretty damn loud. Nevozo does get one kill back. In fact, Nevozo will get two. Whoa! The cross being held by Yusuke from Kochek. He denies the plant attempt. It's just red. The time is so low. 9 seconds left. Yusuke knows he can play for it. Plant attempt will start to come down, but Yusuke's got a freezer rotate. This is an easy kill. The sledge comes off the plant, but he wins the fight. What?
We were told this would be a chill day, and sure, it ended up in freezer, but that was anything but chill.
Yusuke!
Yusuke!
How do you
lose? A monster. He's queuing up with Valorant for me after this. Whatever, man. You know what? He was just insane today. He is a master of finding these really clutch kills. Remember in Oregon Laundry, he was able to find a triple kill in a very similar spot, but the sledge now, he needs a raise. Holy. And now he's gonna be...
I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that happened.
I don't either. Oh.
Yusuke, I mean, he had the hard intel. He was going for the pick. I mean, first of all, as soon as he heard that sledge get off the diffuser, he probably should have just stayed inside of freezer because he got off before he exited. Maybe the call wasn't there. Maybe he didn't hear it. Maybe they didn't have hard info. Either way, I mean, he just should not have lost that fight. That is inexcusable. I'm gonna have to have a talk with Noah after that one because that is inexcusable. You, in no world, with an angled grip, and Vigil should have lost that fight to an L85 at that close range.
Yusuke has done such a good job about finding those kills. It's unfortunate, but that even with the raw intel, that was just the raw gunfight he just could not hit. Maybe there was a surprise factor, but that was miraculous on both ends. He needs a raise for Yusuke for that last game, but maybe not so much that last play. But Crow, we always have a bit of a debate when we cast together about Alibi.
She's okay. I mean, she's got a shield.
Yeah.
But that's all she's got going for her.
I mean, her utility is cool. Like in that instance, I think that's really neat. Even from White Window. Oh. Okay.
Oh, he's trying to like end because of the way it folds out.
So I've always wondered.
Oh, he's trying to line it up. Okay.
Oh, never mind.
Box
was able to find Nevozo. That's gonna be the Mew completely gone. The jam is already into the ground, but you lose some C4 potential. It's gonna be a more traditional Prisma that ultimately goes up on white. I like that original one. I thought that worked very well, but Boji might be able to find the pre-fire, and he does against Kojin. That's a complete reversal from what we had seen before. Holy moly, this is not going D2D's way.
Wow. So you've lost your mute. You've lost your pulse. You lose 2 of your C4 operators on a reading defense. And I mean, sure, maybe they're not going to be as useful because Nemesis are taking horizontally, but still, it's 2 key players that you don't want to lose early. You know, it's a 3 versus 5 for D2E. Still got Exile up top. You could drop Pillar anytime. I'm not quite sure if Nemesis are quite aware of that. As they start to move into Pillar themselves, they will spot out Exile, so you know exactly where he is. And Exile, unfortunately, because of the position of the beam, cannot see the drone. It's actually in the corner of his eye, but he'll ignore it. He'll drop down. The Hibana not ready, but there's Box with the cover. He'll drop right into the waiting arms of the Ash. It's now just Yusuke and Bone, 2 of the main fraggers for D2E, the Mozzie and the Alibi, clutch up a 2 versus 5.
There's a minute left. We've seen miraculous drone work coming through. It's almost in slow motion. Yusuke's able to almost find the shots, but if he rotates around, breaks that barricade, it's a death sentence. He's not going to go for it, but he's trapped inside that room too. He can't escape. There are some Hibana holes on the other side, possibly a Claymore, not entirely sure, probably not on the other side as well, but Yusuke is able to find Joe anyways. Bone pushing up now too, look at the angle at the far side of the hallway. There is going to be some potential. Box on a triple, though, is able to find yet another. There's going to be one left alive, and it's Yusuke. He was in this position before. He didn't clutch it up last round. He has to redeem himself 3 times over right here. He's not able to find the shots again. He's got a pea shooter for a gun compared to the K18 that the Vigil has. He rotates back around, but there's vertical angles up top. He's essentially surrounded. With that being said, though, that diffuser's ticking on away. Not only does it take out at most 4 bodies, but he's not going to find a single one. Nemesis take the lead now over D2E.
Really well played round, and D2E, I mean, they were just giving up picks. They were just giving up kills. What was that? Was that a 4K for... Did Box get Yusuke?
I do not recall, even if it was 2 seconds ago. But remember what we said?
Either way,
D2E,
it was at least a 3K.
D2E's biggest strength is taking on those gunfights. And when they're caught off guard in those rotates, like we saw, they don't win those gunfights normally. Nemesis have been using their drone work so well in that last round that there was no chance for D2E to find themselves in a position to do that.
I mean, they peeked into him first. I mean, first you had that really early White Stairs kill from Box. He just crouch walked up and, you know, crouch watching Ashmain. Sure, he gets the first hit. Then you have the Pulse peeking mining window and losing that fight to the pre-fire of the zone. You have Exile dropping in. He didn't know there was a drone watching him, so that's another easy kill for Nemesis. I mean, 2 versus 5 with a whole, like, what, a minute 15 left for the attackers? That is so much time to play with. So,
oh, yeah.
That is now probably the best Nemesis attack we've seen in both maps. Especially considering that the first attacking win was actually this map. They didn't get any attacking wins on Oregon. So, and Kitchen was down to a 1v1 that they shouldn't have won. It should be 2-1 for D2E right now. But Nemesis able to string 2 in a row. They take the lead. D2E going back to bar, though. This is the original site that they had won.
It's a bit of a different setup, though, all things considered. The operator lineup isn't too crazy different. We've not seen the Maestro come back. Actually, no, there was no Maestro in that first round. We did see Yusuke, though, on the Kaid, which I'm looking forward to seeing again. It didn't quite go the way he had hoped a lot of the times. He had to make a lot of early rotates that kind of pushed him into uncomfortable positions. But for the most part, D2E, of course, did win the round. They were able to find those gunfights. And now Nemesis, this is a prime time to use that really good drone work that we have seen the last 2 rounds to really step it up a notch.
Yeah, Nemesis have looked way better. I'll just say they look way better so far on their attack, at least. We'll have to see about their defenses on Kafe. D2E looking to not let this slip away. Looks like Nemesis are going for maybe a similar style of attack. Where are they?
A lot of backwards counter repels, which make me nervous given what we saw last time.
They're not. Okay, I thought I saw a silhouette downstairs, but no, they're doing their standard piano clear. They'll waste the ADS. Well, I guess the ADS will waste one of those Ash charges. They'll have to dedicate another one to clearing that Pixel Shield. There's no one actually playing behind it, so you'll be able to clear it for free. The nearest player is inside a bathroom. It'll be the smoke of Kojin. You'll be playing with that shotgun. Any close angle being taken by Nemesis will likely result in a death to the M590. That is just not an advantageous gunfight to take. So Nemesis now, instead of taking Cocktail, they'll do the standard piano take. I think D2E, the adjustment of their strategy was to compensate for that. They probably knew how the attack was going to play out. And Joe, now trying to open up bathroom, make that position from the smoke a little bit more exposed.
Keep in mind, too, there's no Wamai this time for Down2Earth. The first round we saw, there was a Wamai, and they were able to hold Pixel effectively, but now, talk about effectiveness. Nemesis are able to find the opening 2 picks. That's going to be 2 completely gone inside the blender into a body smoothie. It's going to be Bonji that falls as well now, but still that 4v3 that we had seen quite a few times now for Nemesis, and sometimes, and most of the time, too, they've squandered it away. This instance, though, they're able to gain a lot of map control early on. They have all of piano, they have most of bathroom as well, and they're on their way to taking over white. The closest opposition we see so far is Bone, trying to push up inside a freezer, but already having all these reinforcements open is a really good sign. Look at all these different angles, though, far held ones, all throughout in the favor, not so much favor maybe of Down2Earth. They're being contested heavily, especially from Box. He's able to push on forwards. Exile trying to rotate through freezer. The fuser's already down. He's only one left. He's a 4v2 right now, no C4 in hand. Has no intel. Right on the hard right, though, trying to find it. Misses the shots again, and Box has been on a tear today.
Yeah, Box has just been absolutely heating up right now. 1v4 for Exile. He can't even get one. Thanks to Box, who I believe got a... Is that another 3K?
I think that was that 4? I don't know. I'm not a countologist. Well, you know what we have to do? This is like the second time we couldn't figure it out. We need Count Chocolate, not Count Chocolate. We need the Count from Sesame Street on here.
1, 2,
3,
4.
3 kills for Box.
I forgot he did that stupid laugh. 3 kills for Box. I can't do the laugh, but I can do the accent.
I love the Count. He's my favorite.
No, down to earth. We'll go to their 5th side. Listen, I saw the number. It was the first number I could think of. Down to earth.
Okay, I'm back. Holy. My favorite was the Halloween special with the bats where they go, batty, batty, bat, batty, batty, bat, batty, bat.
Holy crap, I remember that.
Right? That's the only Sesame Street episode I remember.
Wow.
But look at this extension coming out from D2E, right? We see some interesting Mozzie pellets all throughout for the early drones that could come on in, especially on Bakery side, but Bakery's where Nemesis went last time. We saw early on that they don't want to go for the same attacks twice, and Exile, of course, going to be the beneficiary of that, or maybe the negative beneficiary by taking so many different bullets. It looks like he's opting to contest again. Boji has the angle going downwards. It's going to be not very easy for Exile to see, but he's also effectively stuck if he doesn't want to take it either. He rotates downstairs. He could survive, depending if Boji wants to push up or not, but at this point, even if he crosses it any which way, especially standing up, he's done and dusted.
Yusuke will avoid the drone.
One.
Wow. 1 kill for Yusuke. See, there we go. I'll do the accent. You can do the laugh. It'll be perfect. Okay. Excellent kill for Yusuke. Using the visuals utility to a T. The drone just went right past him, and Box didn't expect him inside of Cocktail. That's also the top fragger now, not just on the side of Nemesis, but also in the lobby as a whole. Though Red is not far behind, and he is still alive, so perhaps he can help bring things back. Down2Earth will peel away from the first floor. They'll make their stake on the second, but playing inside of Dining, they have a very easy fallback through that freezer hatch.
I'm just ready for Yusuke to get another kill at this point to do the count again. Yeah.
I want to do it.
Oh, he's hiding inside of library right now. This is a great opportunity, though, because it seems like Joe hasn't scouted him out just yet.
2 kills for Yusuke!
Oh, he might be on his way to a third, though. This is a redemption round for him. He hasn't been able to clutch up twice now, but he's able to find the early kills. Exile's going to fall too, but he was already lit up from the very beginning of the round. It's kind of a remnant, a prototype, a leftover, if you will, from the early in the round. But now, Yusuke might be able to be on his way into yet another one. And he is! Oh, maybe not. He misses.
3 kills for Yusuke!
3 kills for Yusuke. He finishes up there. He gets traded out immediately. Nemesis now in the back handle, though. 2v3, 30 seconds left. It's going to be up to these two. Last left alive. Joe's already heavily damaged and completely away from his teammate Bales, but they might be able to make this work. Vertical angles underway for Bales using the breaching charge to open something up. Joe is already down inside a freezer just on the outskirts, and Kojin might be able to find the shot. He's going to relegate himself away, though. Play it safe. Use the Maestro charges to see if anyone's nearby, but the drop comes through through in the freezer anyways. Navozo having the angle, might be able to find the skull of the Thatcher, and he's able to. There you go. That's a double kill for both sides of D2E. And they get a second point on the board.
Very well played from D2E to take back their defensive half, at least ever so slightly. Big roam by Yusuke. Huge. 1 kill upstairs. 1 kill upstairs. 2 kills in library. Reading. And then the round just fell apart. I mean, Nemesis, sure, they were able to kill Exile in the beginning. They were finally able to end Yusuke's reign of terror. But at that point, 2 versus 3, not a lot of time left. Your Hibana and your Ash are very, or not your Ash, your Hibana and your whatever he was, I think it was Thatcher, were very separated. They were trying to make their stake through freezer. There's only one direction you can go. It's really easy for D2E to shut down. So much better roam there, much better play there from Yusuke. I think you're right. That was definitely the redemption round for him. And as soon as he redeems himself on the Vigil, he's put on the smoke.
Oh. It's interesting too, because he chose the alibi. I think it was a 6th pick coming out, so it's not the worst choice in the world. I do think it's probably the most beneficial. We had seen what happened last time you brought out an alibi to reading, turned into a 1v4. So I think having more anchor-centric operators onto each site would be a really good way to help stifle the attacks, especially with Toxic Babes. But I just love Yusuke when he's not on an anchor. I think he really flourishes there.
Yeah, it's definitely been a much better showing. I imagine we'll be seeing similar stuff from him. At least hope. Now, this is going to be D2E on the back foot, though. I think it's important to mention. This is Kafe. A lot of people consider this to be a 3-3 map. I don't know. Maybe if Penguin's still in chat, Penguin tell me if he thinks it's more attacker or defender sided. But I think it's more towards a 3-3 even split. D2E, if they go down 4-2, that's not the look they want. Now, sure, that's what they went down on Oregon as, and they were able to take the next 5 rounds in a row, but that was their map pick. This is not their map pick. This is Kafe and Nemesis already. They're looking way more prepared for it. So 3-3 is your best case scenario, at least if you're a D2E fan. If you're Nemesis, you want to lock this out. It's reading. You took it last time, and you took it dominantly. Just go through the motions. Do it again.
I do like where Kojin is right now. He's hiding in the back on the middle floor. He was able to find the early on intel, they're all dropping in red. That being said, though, there is box down below on 2nd floor, 2, waiting for Kojin to peek on by. He does have a C4. If he's able to get in line just in time, he could find so many different bodies upstairs, but there's a gatekeeper in the way. And I don't mean the team, I'm talking about Box. He's hiding down below. You seem to have an inkling of an idea where Kojin is. He's pretty much by himself, and the only beneficiary that he has is that cardiac sensor and his C4. If he expels the C4 too early, it's gone. Pretty much all be for nothing, and he's just a walking drone. But if he can find at least 1 kill before possibly going down or maybe trying to relegate himself away, then this was a pretty successful round, at least for his part. But the roam clear is still going underway. Not much of an opposition going through at all. There is going to be 1 at the top of the stairs, 1 top of Cocktail as well, but neither of which those C4s are going to work. Hiding behind the bars, going to be Bone. Playing it safe, he's going to drop down just in time, taking the majority of the damage away from Bale's Crow. But with 57 seconds left, things are looking really good for this defense.
You'd also see that drone from the attack. They knew exactly where Kojin is. Never really acted on it, though, and thus the Pulse will be able to get back into the site. Still the C4 in pocket. Box, still alone, over towards Train Room. Looking like he wants to push through. There's gas canister to respond from Yusuke. Unfortunately, he'll whiff the throw a little bit, and throw it down. A little bit of damage done to both players. And the long angle held by the Zofia. You really don't want to challenge that if you're Yusuke. Red will get the first pick. Down goes that Pulse that we thought was going to get collapsed upon earlier in the round, but, you know, it's better late than never for Nemesis. They take a 1-man advantage. It's Nefozo. He takes out Bales, but he'll go down, and Yusuke dies to Boji, the 2nd player inside of Train. Plank going down from Bone as the Zofia finds another one. Bone just can't finish him off. It's just Exile. It's a 1 versus 4 post-plant. It's going to be looking like a 4-2 half for Nemesis as Exile. He lets the Zofia slip by. He does a little bit of damage to Boji. Able to finish him off with a headshot, but now they know exactly where the Jaeger is. Everyone from Nemesis just a little bit spread out. Now, sure, they won't be able to refrag as efficiently, but what it does do is it wastes Exile's time. The more spread out they are, the more distance he has to cover before he can find these kills. They'll down Joe. 2 found. 2 more to go. 17 seconds left. He has 10 seconds, 5 seconds each for each of these kills, which is a major time commitment to try and go upstairs. He's hunting down this thatch or this sledge. He's all the way by C1. He'll get the kill, but 7 seconds will be eclipsed. Doesn't matter what happens now. The round will be won by the attackers, and Box will end things early. Nemesis, they take round number 6. They take their attacking half, 4-2, just like we saw in Oregon.
Holy. And there's no server differences this time around either. We've said this quite a few times now, but Down2Earth, it's been said this is one of their best maps, and right now, at least on the attack, Nemesis really has shown up in figuring out how to counter-strat them. But we can't count out Down2Earth just yet. We're switching sides now. Nemesis now being brought to the defense has to play the same exact game. They have to go for the defense themselves. We do see a Rook coming out, which is interesting to say the very least. It wasn't too interesting, say, a year ago, but now it's a very odd pick. It's going to get 6th picked out to a more conventional pulse, and unless the drone work from D2E is really good, that might go unchecked for quite a while.
Yeah, of course, we'll have to see. It's going to be Bar Cocktail first, you know. Perfect site for a pulse. That and reading is typically where you see him brought out. So I'm definitely wondering, yep, they are going to have stake downstairs. It's going to be Box and likely Boji joining him. The Pulse and the Mute downstairs, able to feed his team a whole ton of intel, while the Mute of Boji denies it from Down2Earth. They'll be trying to play for those explosives from below. Very common. D2E, they're likely equipped to deal with this. It's not anything, you know, it's not unique, but it's certainly, you know, how Nemesis want to play this. So that's going to be the big focal point for me in this round, is how well or how poorly D2E take reading. It's very important that they at least just go 1 for 2. If they go 2 for 2 even, because of how much time this clear usually takes, that's not great. You need to be in the man advantage by the time you take reading. Otherwise, your transition, you know, already you're going to be a little bit starved for utility. You're going to be starved for time. If you're going into like an even 3v3 in your transition, it's definitely not going to be as easy.
We've been seeing a lot of these early cocktail rounds be really, really weird for the attack, but it seems like already Nemesis is prepared for any kind of below action. Did you see that chassis hole going through between the chassis and the table?
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
I hope we can see a kill from that.
Maybe.
No, you
right
can't
there.
go. You can't go all the way over though, because it's right by the chassis. But because the observer cam doesn't let you go all the way east, yeah. See, you're stuck.
Ha, loser.
Kafe's the only map where that happens. Even before the rework, it was still the case. They just, I don't know why.
I don't know. Wow, Bales has floor bullet holes. That's disgusting.
Peak siege.
That is disgusting. But yeah, it's going to be Box and Boji down below and reading. Again, I mean, Pulse and Mute, not necessarily the weaponry you want to be fighting on this roam, but if you can hold out, if you can play the positions correctly, you know, it's whatever. Yusuke is already on the hunt. He's holding train. Both roamers are inside of reading, so they don't really need to worry about trainer mining. No one from the defense as well. None of the anchors seem too keen on leaving their positions either. You got the Jaeger, of course, in Pixel. That's going to be the first thing cleared out by D2E. They don't seem too bothered by that downstairs hole, but oh no, Kojin, not only downed by the Jaeger, killed by Exile, and Red's going to tack on for another one. This Pixel clear from Down2Earth, it's only been 2 minutes and they're already falling apart. The C4 from below from Box gets one as well. Yusuke will finally get a refrag for his team, but by the time he does, it's sub 1 minute, and he and Bone are in a 2 versus 4.
Wow, and no pixel control whatsoever. We do see the Jaeger, of course, relegated away from life. They have a little bit of control now inside Piano, but they're completely separated away. 45 seconds left. It's not a good start here for what is essentially the beginning of the round for Down2Earth. They had 2 left alive, no hard reach, only soft to work with, and they do have some really nice artillery to work with, but they have to push through white and no other options. Core's bodies are going to be waiting on the other side. Smoke grenades galore going down, and Toxic Babes making sure they can't live. And that's going to be a 3v1 now. Bone's the last one alive, stuck completely, uses the hard reach to, the hard reach to open something up, but even then, is that going to be enough? That's going to be tough. Then again, he has to push through where his fallen Ash Brethren was because that's where the diffuser is. 10 seconds left though, 1v3, can't find a single body. It's all but over. He can't find anything. One's inside refrigerator, but it's not enough. Boji's able to find him, and that's be Nemesis taking another round.
I mean, that was self-explanatory. That is just a
That was discombobulating.
Really poor pixel take from D2E. You have, you know, you have Kojin getting downed, Exile, I guess his scroll wheel stopped working, throwing the nade right at his teammate. Then you have Exile just walking in and trying to contest the shield angle and it not working. Then you have the C4 from the Pulse, as, you know, they know there's a player inside of Cigar. That was a whole comedy of errors from D2E, and Nemesis took advantage of it perfectly.
It was just beat after beat of pure oddity going out from both teams. I mean, I've never, even back when Warden was popular for Pixel Angle, I don't think I've ever seen Pixel work that effectively before. So maybe it was just unexpected, but I mean, there's no excuse. He was able to find a double kill. Well, a double kill in hard quotations with that Jaeger.
Yeah, and then assist, you know, because the attacks were distracted. Pulse got the kill from below. Yusuke tried to go for a heads-up play inside a bathroom. Didn't work out. He got collapsed upon by, like, I don't know, like 3 different people. And then Bone was by himself. Player deep freezer with a shotgun. You're probably not going to win that fight. Simple as that. So, good round by Nemesis. Although, I don't know if that's a good round by Nemesis or just an exceptionally poor round from D2E. I'm kind of leaning towards a little.
I think it was
both.
a good round from Nemesis. I think it was good. They held their ground. They didn't overextend at all. They could have easily overextended on Whitehall, even when they had such a huge advantage, and just thrown it away. Right?
That is
but
true.
They didn't.
They definitely played it, you know, passive enough. They didn't let themselves get too out of hand. But we are back. We are unpaused. There's a kitchen defense now for Nemesis. They've got a Chanka.
Ooh, I really want to see Chanka. I really want to see
it too.
Oh, to be honest, I've never casted the new Chachanka.
Now, why bring him over the smoke? That's my question.
I think that's good. Like, we've been seeing a lot of contention on both sides inside of Freezer. Plus, you get up these walls really quickly. I didn't even think about that. But I'm thinking, like, you know, it's a 1v2, right? Chanka's the last one alive. Both drop down in Freezer, just like we saw before. Instead of having to peek out, you could be inside the other bomb site and just throw out your nades and your smokes, right? You deny the drop down completely. It's niche, but it's possible. There's a lot of areas on Kitchen like that. Just for every single entranceway.
We're also going to see a roam from the castle, the mute, and likely the vigil as well. It's a reading roam. Vigil upstairs, so it's a 1-2-2 split. Another very common style of roam. Really, the only major difference here is just that it's a Chanka rather than a smoke. So I guess, like you said, I mean, he doesn't need to be exposed to chuck in those Shumika charges, unlike the gas canisters from the smoke. Because you can kind of like bank the flames.
Yeah.
But they don't waste as much time. It's a much smaller radius.
Is he
so there are
playing off site?
No, he's on site.
Oh, he was briefly off site, and I got worried. Okay. Oh no, he is. Oh dear God! If he goes down,
coat check.
If he goes down immediately,
so
this round's over.
His plan right now is to use that hole in the carpet wall to deny prep, because prep is such a small bottleneck. You can easily deny that with the flames for as long as possible. But if they don't take from prep, he'll likely just rotate back in. He can still play from coat check to deny the freezer door, I think. Force him to jump through the window.
Yes.
In the vault, that kind of
Wait, hold on a second. I'm not a, I don't even know, angleologist, but that upper hole that we saw in between the two bomb sites, there's no way he can bank that from the initial hole in Red Hall, can he? I don't think he can.
Where?
You see what I mean? That hole right there? Yeah, I don't think you can bank it. No, there's no way. There's no way.
Oh, like from the ceiling into the hole?
Yeah, because then maybe you can deny the plant. Okay, there's no way.
Do that, no.
I was gonna say that'd be wild. That is like, I don't
That would
even
be
know what
very
to compare it
wild.
to.
I don't even know what you would do to counter that. Already on the roam, Exile goes down. Your Sledge, massive pick for Red. Probably the best one he could have asked for. Not only is it a kill to bring things in his team's favor, but you also deny your main player for the vertical, as well as one of your best players on D2E. knocking the sledge down, you know, probably the most important attacker on a kitchen take. So Nemesis, very good standing right now on Kafe. 4 versus 5 for D2E. 50 seconds left, and they'll have to substitute the sledge with the breaching charges from the Zoe and the Ash. Kojin will go ahead, try to breach open that freezer wall. I thought I saw a defender starting to sneak around towards Whiskey. There is one player behind the bar, but they're not getting too aggressive. The wall has been opened, so Down2Earth now have an avenue into the freezer, and they're going to try and come downstairs. Not aware of the Chonka and coat check. Box will be enough of it, or will take advantage of that distraction, but Bone does fell the Chonka, so we won't be able to see any utility. Kojin gets one, but Box and Boji respond. It's just Kojin. 1 versus 3. There's a player right behind the sinks, but will get tagged up by that Vigil. Able to respond, jumping through, bearing 9, can't find its mark. Boji hitting the prone, gets the kill with the ump. Nemesis take round number 8. Ladies and gentlemen, they are on map point.
It's series point too. There's no map 3s in SCS, so this could be a tie game between themselves and Down2Earth. I do think, though, that we did see the opening pick against Nemesis be Joe on the Chonka. There was nothing to deny the entire site once Chonka fell. Everyone was either playing offside or they just didn't have the utility to do it, let alone the gunfights. And I think if we do see something like that again, yeah, Boji with the Aruni has to be the way to go. It's not as effective, I don't think, but at least it's an automatic utility. You don't have to rely on the timing from an actual player to deny anything. And we didn't see a single Shuri charge come out regardless.
Yeah, that was a little bit disappointing that we quite literally saw nothing from Chonka because he just kind of died.
I don't know why you're playing in code check. Like, I get it. I really do get it, but just play inside prep or play behind the onion table or whatever. That would have been so much more effective.
Yeah, just play like K1,
play like Maestro.
K2. Like, I don't know. That was odd. Now we're going to bar, and we get to see the other operator. We get to see, or sorry, not bar. We're going to reading. We're gonna be able to see Aruni. That's kind of the. This is the main site that we see Aruni on reading to facilitate this offsite hold. It's kind of like the same principle as when you bring her on a gym defense on Clubhouse and use her to help hold down cash. So I know a lot of people have talked about the uses of Aruni specifically on this top floor site. I'm excited to see Boji play it. And if Down2Earth aren't, aptly prepped to deal with it, this could be our last round. This could be where Nemesis locks it out.
It's a really interesting Goyo shield.
I'm surprised it's so far back inside of bathroom.
Yeah. Huh. I want to see what happens with that one, especially. Yeah, that one. Oh, it might not matter going forwards, though. Kojin's already able to find the opening pick. That's Red gone, the Jaeger going down, which isn't the worst thing in the world. It's just, just a Jaeger. I'd be more worried about Box on the pulse here. But regardless, though, look at Bowen's positioning here. He has anybody rotating outside a freezer. There might be a hole on the other side, and there's also bathroom as well, but they're seemingly not aware of Bowen's presence. They're able to sneak on by, though. They're able to get out, but taking the traditional methods could have been instant death. That being said, though, these attackers are gaining some early ground. Of course, too, the early opening pick. It's going to help a lot. The Pixel possibly going to be contested relatively soon by Yusuke. It's going to be huge.
There's the C4 from Box. That pulse going unchecked. Gets the opening kill onto Exile. Well, the opening kill for his team. Again, Sledge dead. Just as important on a reading attack as he is on Kitchen. So that is a huge blow. These D2E members. Of course, they still do have 6 breaching charges, so it's not the end of the world, but you always still like to have a Sledge. Interesting that Yusuke is opting to play with the AUG on IQ. Definitely her least used weapon of the 3. The G8 and the Commando, far more popular, but hey, if you want the ACOG, then that's your weapon of choice. They will see the pulse. Not quite sure how the bars and the floor are situated, so I don't think Yusuke can get it just yet. He'll just let his team know that, hey, there's a pulse below. He's trying to mark us out and call info for his team. Bales and Joe, they're very, very prepared to fall back, and as Bales gets that first kill, there it is. He knows that his job has been done. He got his pick. There's only 50 seconds left in the round. They've wasted 2 minutes on this top floor hold, so they can fall back. 3 versus 4 now. D2E are just not in a good position. Nemesis, this should be an easy lockout right here. They have a man advantage. I mean, they can barely go for any sort of vertical play. They've only got 3 breaching charges on Yusuke, and they don't have time to use it. You got boxed down on bottom white. As soon as Novozo tries to play down, he should come up for the kill, but he'll instead, you know, not push down white stairs. He'll go for laundry hatch. You got Yusuke inside of pillar for the cutoff, but no one from Nemesis is exposing themselves. They're playing extremely passively, which is what they need to do. The plant attempt has to come through from Kojin soon. He's getting pre-fired at as Novozo does find 1 kill on Boji, but he just swings out and he dies to Joe. I'm not sure why he didn't attempt the plant. There's 1 kill from Novozo. Yusuke trying to look for more. He's going to plant right behind the cupboard. There's no chance for any sort of vertical denial, so up will come Bales, but Box, he's above. He's got the pulse scanner.
No.
Can he deny? No, he can't see it. He just misses the shots. Novozo gets another one. How are D2 able to pull this back? It's just a 1 versus 2 for the Pulse. He's stuck upstairs. He'll try and shoot down again, but Yusuke moves out just in time. His Pulse is just wasting more and more precious seconds. Novozo has the drop covered as well. There's only a few ways Box can go down that they're not looking at. He'll end up dropping Laundry just as the Nomad rotates away, but the shots will reveal his location. 19 seconds. He's got 10 seconds to find both of these kills. Again, he'll get the prone angle on a Yusuke. Down he goes. 13 seconds left. Novozo has to get this kill as Box tries to bait out the defuse. Here comes the sprint from the Nomad, but the Pulse is baited off. 7 seconds eclipse. Doesn't matter if he gets the kill. The round is over. D2E keep themselves alive for now.
Holy moly. You know, going way back, I was going to say, you want to use the AUG2 on IQ, you can use the Article 5 Bartlett skin, but the rest of the round kind of served for itself too. That was pretty impressive to see. Nemesis and Down2Earth battling it out right now, Harrison. I don't think this is the outcome, let alone what we see here. You know, if it goes in Nemesis's favor, that's fantastic, or Down2Earth's. Regardless, I don't think any of us were really expecting to see a 6-3 scoreline. I also don't think any of us are really that disappointed in seeing it either.
Yeah, I really didn't think it was going to go this way. Nemesis have looked, in a word, limp so far through the SCS season, but they are heating up here against D2E. Now, that reading defense, though, that reading round, very similar situation to Kitchen in the very beginning. That should not have been around for D2E. Nemesis held all the cards and folded when it mattered. It was what? What was that? A 4v3 that went down to a 4v2 that Yusuke and Novozo clutched up. Brilliant cover by Novozo. Good positioning from Yusuke to get that plant down when and where he did. And just unfortunately, they just could not clutch up. So, great job to D2E, but they're still 3 rounds down.
It's getting a little bit more tense now. So 1-point differential. All of our predictions could be wrong here as casters. Every single one of us said it was D2E. Not a tie, and certainly not in Nemesis's favor. All the predictions were D2E all the way, a 2-0. They've gotten one map, but map number 2, that prediction on the line is only served a difference of a single round, and it has to be a very effective one at that for Nemesis. Their defense hasn't been bad by any stretch of the means. They have 3 C4s on the line now too, and they've been able to make this pulse work so well. But, of course, as we say that, the Cayenne instead is going to be spotted out immediately by the newly picked Jackal and Yusuke. This could be the make or break factor that they're looking for, even if it's something as simple as finding more intel in the early rounds.
I mean, the roam has been pretty good from Nemesis so far, right? D2E seems to have struggled with it. So I do like the Jackal pick from Yusuke. I mean, he was on IQ before, you know, not a very intel-heavy operator. But speaking of that roam, Red, well, not really a roam, but an off-site presence. Red inside a bathroom, holding down Pixel. He gets the entry kill on Bone. Down goes your Zoth. Down goes a major player for your attack. And he's still got this shield. You now have got less burn, less destruction on the attack. Let me just see how they deal with this now. I mean, Nemesis so far, they've been starting off these rounds really well. All they got to do is not let it slip away.
The inner CL is coming out now for Nemesis' side. Red still hiding behind the Iron Shield. Flash Bang is going to be going down. Not going to stifle anybody just yet. Going to be ADS'd a little bit more. The shield goes down, though. Little Prince tracking away. Where's this Jaeger going to be? Peekaboo! Right on the other side of that wall. Could be good, could be bad. If they're going to rush through, they might find this Jaeger. It has to be a 2v1, though. Someone on the other side of Whitehall could be waiting, but they want to go for it. They're waiting in time. Boji coming up white, coming to serve Red. No, he's going to go away. He's by himself. He's by himself. This could be easy for Yusuke to take. He's gonna have to prone him to the floor. He's doing whatever he can to survive. He's essentially going to the fetal position, but he's able to possibly make it work too. Toxic Babes on the other side, making it work, going throughout. Box from below with the cardiac sensor could be able to find yet another one from above. Look at that, so much control upstairs, but no one's been able to push on forwards. If they're able to find yet another one, they do. Boji's able to find Novozo. The flank watch is gone. This is looking really good. More bodies melting away. Red with a double kill is able to make it work. He pushes up and finds Yusuke instead. They try to get onto the site, but it doesn't work. Joe is able to find Exile. One left alive. It's Kojin. This is the make or break. A 1v5 in the works. It's a GG already. Kojin doesn't think he can do it. He's so little health left, and he falls so quickly. Nemesis with a flawless round, taking 1-1 today against Down2Earth.
Wow. Dominant
My God.
7-3 scoreline on Kafe. And let me tell you, not the way I expected this to go. All of us, in fact, thought it was going to be a 2-0 D2E. So unfortunately, all of our predictions are going to take a bit of a hit. But Nemesis, I mean, just looked like the better team.
Yeah.
14-5 for Box, 10-6 for Red. Those two players absolutely popping off on Kafe. D2E, I mean, they struggled. We know them to be a pretty decent Kafe team, at least historically. I mean, maybe something's changed in the past couple months, but Nemesis took it to them. They knew exactly what to do. D2E were stumped in so many of those rounds. I mean, one of their round wins was just, it was a clutch that shouldn't have happened. And I mean, sure, they also lost a round, so 7-3 should, you know, really be the scoreline, but there were just so many rounds where D2E lost the opening pick thanks to, you know, either Box or Red X or just someone roaming. There were flanks abundant from Nemesis as well. D2E, there were so many rounds where they just looked lost.
You said it yourself. The big thing that Nemesis and other teams have to do going up against D2E is just take out your brain, put it there, and then just run at them. But we didn't see that brain get taken out. It was pushed back in, I guess, even farther or something. It was expedited. They had two brains inside each body. It recessed. They made their brains work out and still just pushed at D2E, and they had no response for the majority of the rounds. And that was the big success. And that's not even talking about the intel factor. Nemesis on the attacks had some really good droning. They seemingly knew where everyone on D2E was at the best, most opportune times.
Yeah, they, Nemesis, I'm really happy to see that they were able to beat D2E while still staying fairly structured. Didn't monkey out. I mean, there were a lot of aggressive plays. There were a lot of big flanks and multi-kills and stuff like that, but they still were grounded to their roots, and I'm very thankful to see that. So great job by Nemesis, subverting most of the population's expectations. Really good job.
All but 20%.
I mean, as well as 7-3, going positive in the round differential for today. Actually, +1. So, again, not expecting that. 3 points for both teams. And then I know D2E do draw now with smoke breaks, which were ex-Wichita Wolves. Fortunately, Nemesis will still be sitting in last place, at least until next week.
Whew. You know, we went into this thinking expectations may not be the highest in the world for one team or another, a relatively chill day, but it became such a fiery, explosive ending at the very end.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting those last two rounds to go the way they did.
Yeah, it was a hell of a lot closer. I mean, even, it was weird. Like, round by round, there were some dominant rounds, but the majority of them were very close, down to 1v2s, 1v1s, low time, stuff like that. And now we can take a look at the stats as they're up.
Oh my God.
1.72 rating from Box, 1.45 from Red. Excellent job from both of those guys, both with 80% costs. Exile, typically the leading performer for D2E, unfortunately not really showing up all too much on Kafe. Even Yusuke, 8-9, he's still -1. In fact, not a single person really going positive on this squad. Still a 1.03 rating for him because he did have some very clutch rounds. But I mean, Nemesis just as a whole looking way better on Kafe than D2E and way better than they did on Oregon.
This really changes things up too. We are 3 weeks into the group stage, and now there might be a lot more competition here, and we're not even at the playoffs yet. If this is what we're seeing now, wait till we see what we have at the playoffs. Even more stats come on through. It's just, that was Box's game. That pulse was unreal. Absolutely unreal. I think it was Kojin that tried to do it for D2E's defense, and it was good, but it just didn't have the same effect to it that Box was able to bring out, the same flair.
Box as well, he was doing really well in Oregon too. 71% cost, but you know, look at Red. Look at Red X. Sledge and Valk, 76% cost, 8-2 on entry. I mean, that is not a record to scoff at all. He was doing incredibly well. Yusuke doing the best for his team, 1.25, 21 and 14. He's still +7, same KD as Box, 2-2 on entry. Not as good of a cost, but still a 1.0 KPR. He was doing the most. He was the only player on his team with Plants as your Ash main. That's incredible.
Is the 8-2 a record for a player?
That is a great question, and one that I cannot answer.
Oh, most likely we get word from the producer. It seems like that might be an entry record. Holy crap. Good job, Red.
Yeah, Red and Box, both of them. Extremely well done from them in this match. They are definitely the big driving forces as to how Nemesis was able to finally take that last map and how they were able to bring it so close on Oregon in the very first half. And I'm looking forward to what Nemesis can bring. It looks like some of their problems have been solved. Again, they still have gatekeepers, I believe. They still have Aerial Arise. So they've still got the 2 giants in their group that they're yet to go against. So, you know, they're not out of the woods just yet.
What absolute crazy is this? But we're not done just yet. We still have a whole nother series to go. Myself, I'm going to be replaced by Chief in the second series. But Crow, you're sticking around, aren't you?
I am. I'll still be
That's
here.
right.
I'm doing 2 matches today.
Nice. But with that being said, we are going to be going to a very small break as we get things set up on our end, get Chief in here. And with that being said, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.